There, the manager.
What do you think?
Marvellous, love. No one else has got a chance. They'll take one look at you and that'll be it.
I don't think there'll be anyone else this morning. I believe it's just me.
Well, then they'll ring everyone else up and tell them not to bother, that they've made their final choice.
It's what's in here they're interested in, darling.
They'll soon learn that.
Everyone nowadays, you know, wants degree people. Even travel agents.
Well, there aren't any degrees in customer relations. It's appearance, presence, intelligence, manner.
You are a little biased.
Who wouldn't be?
I hope you don't mind, Mum. It's something I don't really know who else to talk to about.
No, of course not.
I don't really know where to begin.
Why not start by sitting down?
Well, all right. Yeah. Thanks. Janice said she thought you wouldn't mind.
Look, I'm not busy. There's no hurry, so relax. Take your time.
It's her sister. Janice's sister. That's my sister-in-law. Look, other people's family affairs, I'm sure you get fed up hearing.
Brian, I'm glad you feel you can talk to me about it. Please, go on.
Well, she's the eldest of the girls. Louise is, I mean. She's 11 years older than Janice. She's had, well, what you might call a rather checkered life so far. The first time she got married, she was only 20, and that ended in divorce. And then she got married again when she was 30, and that one broke up too. Not had a lot of luck, you might say.
No. Has she got children?
Only the one. A teenage daughter at boarding school. I'd say that's about the only problem she hasn't got. Money. Her second husband ran off with his secretary, and I think he felt a bit guilty about it, so he pays her a very fair-sized allowance.
Where does she live?
At Glendale. Posh, aye. Actually, we don't see that much of her. You know, she's a bit above our class. It's, well... I don't know whether people take more pleasure in telling you gossip because you're a policeman or what. Anyway, we found out a few weeks ago she's taken up with some young bloke and she's got him living with her.
And? I mean, I presume there's more to it than that.
Yeah, well, she's 42 and he's 20.
But it happens.
Oh, aye. But, to be honest, Janice and me are quite a good bit worried about it.
Particularly what, though? You can't just be worried about the age difference.
Well,
Are you? No, you can't be.
I don't even know whether Louise knows this bit or not. I only found out myself when somebody told me last weekend. The young bloke's got a record. He's a Borstal boy, out on licence. Now, I know that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going... Only I do feel,
You
well...
wish you knew more about him. Only since it's your wife's sister, you don't want to be the one making the interested inquiries.
Well, yeah, right. That's about it, yeah.
Do you know his name?
John Peter Morton.
Any idea when he was released?
About 2 months ago.
Here you are. I shall pray. Dear Lord, please give John Peter his big chance.
You never know. It might work.
What time will you be back?
What do you think? Would it seem very pushy if I asked him if he'd like to have some lunch?
No, of course not. I mean, after all, customer relations.
I do so hate asking you.
Well, at least you should be on the safe side, just in case. I know you won't use it if you don't have to.
He's the managing director, darling.
Oh, well, I don't think I've got any more in the house.
How about what you keep for emergencies? Behind the drawer in the hall table.
Oh.
Partly police. No, I'm sorry, PC Keller isn't available at the moment, madam. Can I give him a message? All right, be like that.
Sarge, is it anthropomorphic or anthropomorphic?
Homorphic. Why?
Forgot my dictionary.
I don't mean that. I mean, why do you want to know?
For this?
What is this? So far as I can recall, no officer has ever before wanted to use anthropomorphic in a report.
It's not a report. It's for my evening class. We're doing Watership Down.
Not a report? And you're typing it on the station typewriter in duty time? On station paper?
It's not station paper.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I thought so. Thanks for confirming it. Many thanks, Michael. Cheers. Whatever the unexpired period of his borstal sentence, he's on licence during the whole of it to a probation officer. So, let's see what they have to say. Janet Phillips, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it.
Hello? Is that the probation office? This is Inspector Longton. Could I speak to Mrs. Janet Phillips, please? No, it doesn't matter. Could I speak with one of the other seniors, then? Acre Street, aren't they?
Aye.
I want to get some more muesli from the health shop. Might just pop over. Hello? Yes, this is Inspector Kate Longton. Who am I speaking to, please?
Thank you, Mrs. Scott.
Allow me, sir. May I, Paul?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Lemaire.
Do you take it black or white, Mrs. Birkinshaw?
Oh, black, please, Mr. Lemaire. And just one sugar, please. Thank you.
There we are. And you, sir?
White for me, please. How long did the journey take you?
Oh, not very long. About 2 hours. Once you get onto the motorway. Is that about right, sir?
Oh, splendid, yes, thank you. A lot of traffic, was there?
Do you mind if I help myself?
Please.
No. And anyway, the car I have at the moment, I can get round most things rather easily.
It looked very nice. What is it?
Oh, just the good old Renault. Of course. Une salle très ravissante, madame.
Merci, monsieur.
I'm afraid our French is only up to school level. Isn't it, Winifred, eh? Is that where you originate from, then, Mr. Lemaire?
Oh, no. I had a French grandfather, that's all. Mine's not what it should be, I'm afraid. I've had a few holidays there. My stepfather was in the diplomatic service in Paris for a little while, which was pleasant. But I was very lazy. I didn't take the opportunity to learn when I should have done. But I mustn't take up your time with reminiscence. I'm here for you to see if I'm at all the sort of person you're looking for.
Yes, well, now, perhaps we ought to begin by asking you a few questions, then. If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Lemaire.
Of course, anything. Only I wonder, could I ask, it does seem so frightfully formal calling me Mr. Lemaire. Would you mind John Peter? Makes me much more at ease.
No, right. John Peter it shall be, then.
Of course, it's really Jean-Pierre, but in England that sounds... I think first thing of all ought to be my references, shouldn't it? Then you know I'm who I say I am.
Yeah.
I keep promising myself I'll have them copied. It's foolish to carry the originals around, but, well, I haven't had much occasion to use them yet. Must be in the other pocket. on earth? Oh, no. Don't believe it. Don't tell me.
Now, don't say you've lost them.
No, not lost. I distinctly remember putting them on my desk. Oh, how absolutely stupid. Utterly ridiculous.
Well, now look, John Peter, never mind for the moment. We can do without those for the time being. I'm a man who likes to make up his own mind. I can always have a fair idea of what people are like just by looking at them. So tell us a bit more about yourself, and never bother about what's happened just now.
Oh, I really am most dreadfully sorry. However could I be such a...
Oh, let it be. Now then, so how long were you working for this lord, whoever it was, as his personal secretary?
Good morning.
Morning. My name's Miss Longton. Mr. Barnard's expecting me.
Is he? Mr. Barnard?
Mm.
Would you mind taking a seat, please? I'll just see if I can track him down.
Thanks.
Give it up, my dear. A nice-looking young woman like you.
Right. Right, Sarge. Oh, have we got a lamp?
There's one in the car. Okay, then.
Yep.
See you then, Joe.
Yeah, right. Good luck. Hey, Bri, I forgot. A woman rang earlier inquiring for you. She didn't leave her name or anything, just rang off again.
Yeah, well,
Secrets, eh?
I should be so lucky. Right, Sarge?
Yeah, come on. Let's get on with it.
The muck cleaners up a society, that's what my uncle used to say we were.
How long was he in the force then?
30 years. And then he went 6 months after he retired, just like that. He always said leaving would finish him. He'd have jumped at it. Going to fish a corpse out of a culvert, his idea of a really interesting morning, that'd be.
30 years, though. Funny sort of life some people choose.
It's a good life. I mean, you make your own, don't you?
Yes, if you would, please. Thanks, Deirdre. Shouldn't be a moment. Sorry Peter Barnard isn't here. Something very unexpected for him to go like that.
No, it's all right. I'm glad of the chance of seeing you again. How have things been?
Busy? And you?
Oh, very.
How's John?
John? Oh, the youth club. Well,
Nice man, I think.
yeah, seems so.
One of the legions of disillusioned probation officers.
Oh, they're that many.
Oh, I don't suppose so. Not really. No more than police officers.
There are plenty of those.
Heck, that was quick.
It was on Peter's desk.
Deirdre, this is Inspector Longton.
How do you do?
Is it everyone in the probation service we're not popular with?
I think you're imagining things a bit.
And yet you?
What?
Well, I was sure a request for information would bring the confidentiality shutter down.
Well, it depends on the case. This particular lad is rather exceptional. He's Peter Barnard's client, not mine. But I do know about him. We all do. Could I ask you first, is he in trouble?
Not as far as we know. Up to now.
Will you tell me why you're inquiring about him?
Some of it is confidential. It's got something important to do with one of my officers. Is that enough?
Okay. What name did you say?
John Peter Morton.
Oh, how unusual.
Why, isn't that his real name?
Yes, it is. That's what's unusual. He doesn't usually use it. Very confusing. We're released from Borstal 2 months ago. Another 8 months to do on licence to Lucky Us. Known to the other inmates as John the Lad. Discharge address, 1 furnished room, 2 Bellish Road, landlady Mrs. Paget, who said he was out seeing a friend when his supervising officer called. Came in here to report a week ago last Monday. That's a bit longer than I'd have let him on the loose myself.
I'll tell you one thing for a start. This address. He's not living there regularly.
Oh, thanks. But I think for the moment we won't let on we know. Moved in with a girl, I suppose.
Not exactly a girl.
Oh, so you know where he is?
Yes.
So if we need to find him, we know where to go?
You're not greatly bothered he's moved?
Well, not on its own, no. But don't think that he doesn't bother us generally, because he most certainly does.
John Peter, grand to have met you. Very nice indeed.
Thank you. And you, sir. Mrs. Birkenshaw. Please don't try to get up. It's been the greatest pleasure, madame.
Now, there's nothing else at all you want to ask us?
No, I don't think so, sir.
Yes. Good. Well, goodbye then, and thank you very much for coming.
On the contrary, thank you for seeing me.
Well, now, look here, John Peter, we're both men of the world. There's no point in playing games, is there? It's true, as we said, we've 2 more coming to see us tomorrow, but Winifred and me haven't been married for all these years without having a fair understanding. And I know she feels the same as I do. We need someone as quick as we can. There's no need to mess about anymore. We'd like it to be you.
Well, that's really very kind of you. But if I could still just have 48 hours, I'd be...
All right. Let's be blunt, shall we? It's the money, isn't it?
Well, not really, sir. It's just as tempting to me to have the separate flat and the car, everything else you're offering.
Yes, basically, it's the money. You know, I think when you get to my age, your ideas get a bit out of date. So let's up what we first said and say £5 a week on top. No, still, that's nothing these days, is it? Let's say £10 a week every 3rd weekend off instead of every 4th. Now, we want this settled right now. What do you say? Emergencies need emergency measures, eh?
In my opinion, he is what is often known as a psychopath. Psychiatrists. They always hang labels around people's necks if they can. Short-term drives, must have immediate satisfactions, inability to differentiate between right and wrong, lies for the sake of lying, incapable of learning from experience, and is always highly plausible. And so on and so on. All the usual stuff.
You don't go much for it?
I'm sorry to say, yes, I do. Especially where John Peter is concerned, for want of a better diagnosis. Someone once said they're like flowers without perfume. That is John Peter exactly.
But quite bright.
I think you could say quite. IQ 146. Keep out of his way.
Is he violent?
He hasn't any convictions for that yet. But there were 1 or 2 rather dubious incidents in Borstal, but it seems they never managed to get to the bottom of any of them. Something to do with a knife, a boy who was educationally subnormal. Oh, another incident to do with a member of staff's dog. That was not at all nice.
Are you saying potentially he's dangerous?
I would say he could be, very. Especially if someone frustrated or annoyed him.
Wonderful. Really marvellous. I said, didn't I? I knew they'd need only one look at you. How long? How long do you have to be in America for training?
Well, they say anything between 3 and 6 months. Then I could be posted, well, anywhere in the world.
Will I see you?
Of course.
When? Where?
Don't be ridiculous. I don't know yet. How could I?
This is it, isn't it?
My dear Louise, I do hope we're not going to have another one of you.
Scenes? No. No, you're not. I knew it was bound to come, John Peter. Anyway, it's been great. Really great. Don't worry about me. I'll get over it.
You know, you really are very morbid, Louise, aren't you?
John Peter, just as a matter of interest, you didn't tell them that you'd been in a borstal, did you?
I'm not quite that stupid, darling.
Isn't there something about if you want a visa for America, you have to fill in a form that asks, have you had any criminal convictions?
Yeah, I think there probably is. But if you put no, how can they possibly find out? I mean, unless somebody tells them. Louise? You wouldn't be hinting at something, would you?
Whatever do you mean?
I don't want any nonsense from you, you know.
John Peter, I love you.
That's what makes you so unpredictable, isn't it, darling? Hmm? You've never quite seen it. But I do have an unpleasant side to my nature.
You've nothing to be afraid of from me, John Peter. But it's not because I'm frightened of you.
I hope you never need be.
I noticed your car was back.
Observant.
I've got certificates for it. How was London?
Fine.
Not?
I just hate having to see a solicitor.
Did you see Ellie?
Yeah, had a meal together.
How was she?
All right. But a hamburger joint in Leicester Square's hardly the place for intimate conversation, is it?
When did you get back?
This morning.
Have you had any food yet?
Not yet, no.
How about lunch?
Can we make it tomorrow?
I rather urgently need some advice.
You? From me?
Yes, me from you. Why'd you do that? Look, early'd suit me better than late. How about now?
Mr. Martin, there's somebody to see you.
This is diabolic. It's so tough, I don't think I
Okay,
can...
so it wasn't such a good idea after all.
I just don't feel like being among a lot of people, he says. As for this...
Tea! Without milk. So? Advice.
No, go on. Look, it'll keep.
I thought you said it was urgent.
It's okay.
All right, give me something else to think about.
All right, if you insist. It's...
You see, normally for 2 days, all I think about is Ellie. And what went wrong with my marriage and things like that.
And if there's any hope of reconciliation?
No, I don't think about that. She's living with someone else.
Are you divorced? Sorry, that's a bit rude of me, wasn't it?
That's not rude. Why do you say that? No, we're not divorced. Maybe if one of us met someone else. But at the moment, we're not bothering.
Cheers.
I really meant it, you know. Give you something else to think about.
All right. Where shall I start? When you were a probation officer, did you have any Borstal boys on licence to you?
Yeah. I've got 2 ex-Borstal boys in the club now.
Is one of them called Morton?
No.
Do you know what a psychopath is?
An aggressive psychopath, an inadequate psychopath, or a creative psychopath.
Oh,
Did a course, didn't I?
not sure. Aggressive, I should think.
Well, roughly, yeah, I suppose so.
One of my officers, look, this is totally in confidence, okay?
Yeah?
Is worried about his sister-in-law because she's taken a Borstal boy to live with her, who's 20 years or more younger than she is.
And he's a diagnosed psychopath.
So the psychiatrist report says so.
Where did you get hold of that?
I didn't. Your probation officer friend, Janet Phillips, read me extracts from it.
She's not my friend.
Friend meaning friend.
All right, yeah, all right.
Are you a bit touchy about
You
it?
get your teeth into things, don't you?
Perhaps it's mixing with all these psychologically minded people. Well?
I'm sorry, I've lost the thread of what we're talking about.
Look, my officer. What should I say to him? Should he be worried about his sister-in-law and any bright ideas about what he should do?
You're not asking much, are you?
Only what he's asking me.
I run a youth club, you know, not a personal problems bureau.
Lucky for you. I just run a police section.
Ah, who's getting touchy now, then?
All right. Talking helps a bit.
Yeah. Nothing else seems to, not that I can say anyway. I mean, I don't know the lad, but even if I did, well, living with someone, it's not a crime, is it? I don't see what you can do about that.
She did say he was potentially dangerous.
Janet Phillips did.
Mm.
Well, I should imagine he is.
Do you think it would help if I went to see him and talk to him?
Well, if he is what the psychiatrists say he is, threats won't affect him.
Look! More of an appeal to his better nature is what I had in mind.
You could try. But if he really is a psychopath, I don't think you can assume he's got one.
Is that you, John Peter?
Mother? Come on. Do get on with it. Die.
Not very nice for either of you. Any clue as to identity?
No, ma'am. Just a vagrant, as far as we could tell. Been in the culvert quite a few days from the look of him.
Anyway, how are you getting on with the Churchill Estate Tenants Association?
Oh, I'm enjoying it. Yeah, it's nice when folk treat you like one of them.
How about the match? You got over losing last Saturday.
Oh, ma'am, it was never a penalty. I went for the ball.
Ridgefield Upper School wants someone to come and talk to the fifth form about a day in my working life. Do you fancy it?
Not the fifth form. No, I can't say I do. Still, I suppose I could get a recommendation for the Queen's Police Medal out of it.
Good lad. I'll write you in.
Thank you, ma'am.
And?
Well, if there's anything to say.
Not much, I'm afraid, and not very good.
No, and I don't think Janice has. They're not all that close.
The probation office know the lad she's living with, but they don't like him much. John Holden at the youth club doesn't know him, but was quite informative about his type. I have to say, Brian, frankly, until he actually commits an offence, there's not a great deal we can do about it.
Yeah, well, people get into their own situations, don't they? Louise has always been a rather impetuous sort. I don't suppose anybody will talk her out of it.
I did think, I mean, I wouldn't have done anything without consulting you first, of course. I thought I might go and see him and have a chat with him, the boy.
I thought of that, too.
But on reflection, decided not.
Yeah, well. Anyway, thanks very much for all your help, ma'am. With respect, ma'am, is there something more you're not telling me?
Well, perhaps I should say this too. Only whether you tell your wife or not's up to you. The probation service were pretty emphatic. He could be a not very nice character at all.
A big kiss for remembrance. Bye.
Get those files put away. Are they police? Oh, hello, Mrs. Kelleher. No, I'm sorry. Brian's out at the moment. He shouldn't be long, though. Shall I ask him to ring you? Hang on a minute. I think you're in luck. No, he's here just now.
He wants to take the leaf out of mine. That if I'd have been there.
Danny, give me what we've got on Charlie Hodgkin and Gary Rice.
Right, it's your wife.
Yeah, and the ball would be straight in the back of the net. Is that the scent of freshly brewed tea, son?
Yes, Sarge. What?
I didn't tell you.
You did, man.
Hello, Janice? State secret. Can we all hear about it?
Talk about a waste of police time.
Sometimes I do. I just wonder. No, but I mean, what's the hold up there, son? Can you imagine 3 Afghan hours this
Trouble is, I'm on duty for another 2
on the
hours.
roof without any
But look, I tell you
charges
what,
on
I'll have a
us.
word with the boss and see if I can get over there, okay? All right, love. All right?
I said, excuse me, madam.
Try not to worry about it.
You know me,
I'll
sir.
get back to you on the phone as soon as I've got something sorted out, okay? Right. Sarge? What sort of a mood she in?
Why, frightened over her something. Stand up to her like I do. I always think you got from trousers.
Yeah, come in. Did you know Charlie Hodgkin and Gary Rice are joint owners of the same club?
No, I didn't, Mum.
All this time it's been here in our files, right under our noses. Has nobody ever heard of cross-indexing?
I expect so, Mum, but things do get missed now and again, you know.
What's the matter?
The wife's just had a rather upsetting phone call from her sister.
How upsetting.
I don't know properly. Apparently she sounded rather confused and, well, like drunk, Janice said. You know, a voice all slurred. Except she doesn't drink as a rule. Sounds to me more like she's taken something. I mean, she is that sort.
You want to go and see if she's all right?
Yeah, I think I can get Glyn to stand in for me.
Yes, of course, Brian.
Thanks very much, Mum.
Do you think I should come with you?
No. Well, I mean, I know how busy things are. You know.
Glendale, isn't it?
Yeah, Park Road.
It'll not be too long if we're lucky with the traffic. Joe, I'll be up to Glendale. She's alive.
$7499 to Hartley.
Hartley.
Ambulance here, soon as possible, Sarge. 38 Park Road.
Will do. Any information on the casualty nature?
No, not yet, Sarge. Let you know as soon as we have. Out.
Edgar, please, for my sake, then, just telephone the police.
There's absolutely nothing to be afraid of, Winifred. Nothing at all. It was Mrs. Scott who found it on the floor there when she was clearing away. Your postal license.
Well, there's not a lot I can say, is there, really? As far as people like you are concerned. Once you've been in trouble, you haven't got a chance. You're branded with it for the rest of your life.
It's not that, John Peter. It's that you told us such a pack of lies.
Oh, and if I told you the truth?
I'm not saying what we would have done. We didn't have a chance to find out, did we? But we're not vindictive people. If you'd been honest with us, we might very well have given it consideration, decided you deserved the chance to show what you were made of.
Is this very valuable?
Not particularly, no. Why are you asking?
And this?
Oh, no, please don't. My father gave me that when I was 20.
Yes. Yes. Okay, Brian. Yeah. Well, I'm glad she's not too bad. No, you stay at home with Janice. You're not to come in here till you're sure everything's okay with her. Right? Yes. Yes, thanks for the information. Yeah. We'll be in touch. Bye now. Bye. The hospital say it was a big overdose, but they think they got to her in time. She should pull round. The car's a maroon Renault 30TX, Alpha Lima Papa 1 Yankee. What was usually in the back of the whole table drawer was about £200, so what with the damage to the table, we should have more than enough. The probation service gave us the address of his lodgings.
Yeah, Danny and Trevor are covering that.
So, we just have to wait.
At the police station. Just a moment, sir. Try to stay as calm as possible. That way it's easier for me to follow what you're saying, isn't it? All right? First, if you could give me your name and address, please. B-U-R-K-E-N...
Good afternoon, officer.
It's...
It's all right. We've got him in custody. It'll be all right. There's nothing to be afraid of. You're in no danger now. This is all an incredible mistake. It's like a nightmare. I've done nothing wrong whatsoever. What's the point of this?
Something wrong?
How could a woman try to kill herself over you?
Am I to blame? It's no crime I've done.
The money from the whole drawer. You've not mentioned it.
A going-away present.
Taking the car?
She often lent it me.
Criminal damage to the table.
Table. Sorry, that must have happened after I left.
And the Birkenshaw's sunroom?
Very doddery old people. Always breaking things, don't you find?
Let us know when you want to have another try.
Oh, there is one thing. Apparently my poor mother's died. I would like to pay my last respects. Could you lay on a car?
Hello. Where have you been the last few days?
Oh, busy. I was just passing and I wondered about lunch.
Oh, salt beef and tinned tomato soup. I wouldn't have thought you could take that again.
Right.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the bill.
Lost then, are you, Fang? Or are you a recruit for the police dogs? You've got to take exams, you know. You've got to be a very bright dog to join our lot. Right, breakfast first, then we'll measure you. If you're up to standard, you... Morning, ma'am. Another stray.
Dr. Doolittle lives and can be found in Hartley Police Station. Morning, Joseph. Any other prisoners this morning?
No, it's very quiet. A couple of the lads are out keeping offs for that early morning milk bottle thief, that's all.
Mm-hmm. What do we know about Enstone taxis, Joseph?
Market Street. Bit of a ragtag outfit, really. Boss is Bill Enston, fat fella. Started taxi driving a few years ago. Now he's got some drivers working for him on a self-employed basis.
I've just driven past on my way in. The place looks like a breaker's yard. Cars parked all over the place. Send Martin down there, mark his card for him. Tell him if he doesn't cooperate and get his cars off the footpath, we'll give him some attention.
Enston won't like that, ma'am. Considers himself one of the economic arteries of Hartley, does our William.
You better go with Martin, then. Give him a firm warning. Tell him it's the last he'll get. I'll be keeping my eye on it.
Right, ma'am.
Bob!
Yeah?
Come on, Mrs. Turner. 27 hours Stottle Street, you take her to South Terrace, you wait and you bring her back after. Oh, come on, it's a rush job. She's late as it is already.
Send one of t'others.
It's your turn. You miss this and you miss out.
Give up, Bill. You know I can't go that way. I'd have to drive right past front of Social Security. If I'm clocked by them, me benefits up the chute, innit?
Right, Sheila, it's yours, love.
Lazy slob.
Yes?
Hey, Bill. Get kettle on. Hot. The SWAT squad's here.
Bob, get on the phone. Oh, hello, Mr. Beck. Officer. Yeah, it's good to see you. You like a brew? It won't take long.
Not just now, Mr. Enston, like a word. Outside, please.
Oh, at the book Old Fleet for police ball, that's it.
Well, you should say that. Booking the old fleet. Might just come to that.
If that's a joke, it's in very bad taste, Sergeant Beck.
These cars. Looks like stock car night at the stadium. They can't be left like this.
Come on, Sergeant. 8 years you've known me. You know I'll do everything I can to help the police.
If you don't get them parked properly, there'll be some summonses flying.
It's not my fault. It's the drivers. I tell them. I keep telling them. But they don't take a blind bit of notice. What more can I do?
Well, something's got to be done and quick. My inspector's taken a personal interest.
You want me to talk to the driver, Sarge? Might help.
Aye, all right, go on then. I'll have a chat with Mr. Enston.
Well, I must say, your Bobby seems to be getting younger every day. Not seen him before. Only seems a bit of a kid.
I'm sure. Oh, he's a bright lad. You know what they say, Bill, when the bobbies start looking younger?
Yeah, I know. Feel a bit old myself, too, sometimes. You know, I was only saying to the wife the other day...
Sorted it, Sarge. Don't think there'll be any more problems?
Well, I'm damned.
Well?
Yes, Sarge?
What did you really say to them?
Sarge?
Don't come it with me, son. The drivers. What did you really say in that office?
Oh, that? Well, just what I told you, Sarge. Well, I just happened to mention that you and Sergeant Parrish had a fiver on who could report most offences before Friday.
You said what?
And that you were behind by about 12. Got to go now, Sarge. Got a school crossing to do at St Andrews.
Hey! Come here.
You're going to be late.
Go on, tell him. You tell him.
Come on, then. What's up?
It's the fella.
What fella?
Up there. Keeps falling over.
Why?
He's drunk stepping about.
What's that?
We saw a man who was drunk and falling over.
All right, nosy. Get your rifle.
Started early today, Vincent.
Mind your own business, copper.
Then don't make it my business, Vincent. Get off home. You're not fit to be out in the street.
Clear off, you pig!
Come on, Vincent. Get off home nice and quiet before I have to lock you up.
You lock me up? You must be joking. It'll take more than you.
Last time. Get off home! Now!
All coppers are rubbish! All coppers are bent! Pig! 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 Pig!
Serves you right, Vincent. You all right?
Oh, pig. I'm all right. Just leave me alone. I'm all right. Leave me alone. I'm all right.
I'll get an ambulance.
Stuff you and your ambulance. I'm not going. I'm all right. Just leave me alone.
Get off home. Sleep it off, then.
Evening, Vince. Bottle of brown. Fell over again, Vince. Mind your own business.
Have a grand pair of eyes by tomorrow, Vince. Another second prize.
Bloody coppers. Who do they think they are, anyway?
Police! You're not in trouble with the law again.
Well, you could say that.
What happened?
They beat me up, didn't they?
What for?
Nothing.
Give over.
They did. Saw this copper in May Street at dinner time. And he just punched me in the face for nothing. Nothing.
No, that can't be right, can it? Have you complained?
Yeah, I can't be bothered.
You got over there and complained something should be done.
Tough.
They made a mess. Should be worth a few kids, should that? If you're wondering even. Heard of a guy the other day the coppers beat up. He got over 1,000 quid and he wasn't even marked. You should complain and go for compo.
What are you on about?
Well, criminal compensation, they call it. Pay out like shelling peas, they do. Got to complain first, though.
Just go down to the Nick and tell him about it, and that's all.
Ah, nothing to it.
I couldn't help overhearing your conversation. It was our mess. Policeman, was it?
What if it were?
Well, I thought I could help you get some compensation.
What's in it for you, eh?
Police are no particular friends of mine, or yours either, I should imagine. That's by the by. What are you drinking?
Bottle of brown.
Large scotch and water for me, please. Yes, I think we should be sure of a fair sum for the beating you took. Yeah? Shall we go there where we can talk? No. Oh, sorry, I don't know your name. Mine is Andrews.
Berry, sir. Vince. Vincent. Berry.
Right, Vincent. Now, as I understand it, you were attacked and beaten by a policeman without any justification.
Yeah.
Then we must make sure that someone is made to pay.
Are you a lawyer or something?
Not exactly, Vincent. I've retired. But I have some experience of the procedure for making complaints against police officers who behave improperly. It's very straightforward.
I've no money. My doll's finished. I only get supplementary. I couldn't pay you.
Don't give it a thought, Vincent. I want to help you. Well, we can trust each other, can't we? And perhaps when we've finished, you'll feel I've earned a share of your entitlement, say 1,000 each or something of the sort.
Sounds fair enough.
Well, the sooner we get started, the sooner you have your money. Now, tell me, from the beginning, what happened?
It was this dinner time. I were in May Street, and this copper, he's got it in for me.
Bye, Sarge.
Bye.
I'll be with you in a moment, sir. What do you want, Vincent?
I want to see the boss.
Yeah, well, you would, wouldn't you? What do you want?
I'll tell the boss.
Tell me what you want, and I'll decide whether you see the boss. She's too busy.
I've got a complaint.
You sure it's not the doctors you want?
I want to make a complaint to your boss.
Go on then, what is it?
No, it's the boss I want to see, then something may be done.
I've told you, Vincent, you don't see anybody till I know what it's about, so either tell me or clear off.
It's this. I want to claim for it and make the rotten copper who did it pay.
That's what you're saying, is it? Tell me about it.
Sergeant, your obstruction has gone quite far enough, and Mr. Berry has made his not unreasonable request very clear.
You're with Berry, are you, sir?
Yes, Sergeant, I'm with Mr. Berry.
You are, sir?
Andrews, Sergeant. My name is Andrews.
Do you have any connection with Berry's complaint, sir?
Yes, I'm here to advise Mr. Berry and be sure that correct procedures are observed. So now, if you would please contact your superior.
I'll see when the inspector will be free to see you, sir.
Yes, Joseph, what is that?
There's someone at the counter wanting to see you, ma'am.
Oh, yes? What about?
Could be a problem, ma'am.
What sort of problem?
It's Vincent Berry, local yob. Got a bit of form, mainly for drunk. He's just rubbish. He says he wants to complain that he's been assaulted by a policeman. He has got 2 real black eyes. It's the fellow with him who smells of trouble. He's a real smooth type. His name's Andrews, he says. I've never seen him before. I don't like what I've heard so far, ma'am.
I better hear what they have to say then, Joseph. Fetch them in. Oh, and when you come back, stay with us, please. I might need some corroboration.
I think you're right, ma'am. Will you come this way, please? Vincent Berry, Inspector. And this is Mr. Andrews.
Good morning, gentlemen. Please sit down. I'm Inspector Darbley. I understand from the sergeant that you feel you have grounds for complaint against a police officer.
Are you the boss?
I'm in charge of Hartley Police Station.
Oh, it's you I want to see, then. One of your coppers beat me up, and I want compo.
You say a police officer assaulted you.
Aye. Yesterday in May Street, it were.
Why do you say this person was a Hartley police officer?
'Cause he were. He were in uniform, and I know him.
Let me get this straight, Mr. Berry. You were saying that a police officer, in broad daylight, in a public street, in uniform, and who is known to you, assaulted you?
Aye, that's about it. Dinner time, it were. It were that Helmshire. He punched me in the face for no reason. You see what he did?
Mr. Berry, I'm sure you understand this is a very serious allegation. You wish me now to record this as a formal complaint?
I want a form to fill in so I can get compo.
Inspector, what my friend Mr. Berry means is that he wishes to make an official complaint under, I believe, the provisions of Section 49 of the Police Act 1964. He will, of course, in addition, be seeking financial compensation for his injuries.
I'm sure Mr. Berry knows what he wants.
Oh, yes, Inspector. But he may find your officialese a little confusing, though I'm sure it's quite unintentional on your part.
I usually manage to make myself understood, Mr. Andrews. Now, Mr. Berry, what I'm going to do is make an official record of your complaint. It will be submitted to the Chief Constable, who will appoint a senior officer from another area to investigate it fully. It's only fair to warn you, though, at this stage, and I want you to listen carefully, that should the investigation prove that your allegation is untrue, that you've been telling lies, you could find yourself in serious trouble.
Not a possibility we need concern ourselves with, Inspector.
Mr. Berry, could you tell me your full name and address, please, and then will you tell me what happened in your own words?
I think you will find all you need here, Inspector, in this statement which I prepared for Mr. Berry. I have retained copies, of course.
Thank you, Mr. Andrews. I'll submit that with my report.
And also I have obtained from a doctor a detailed report of Mr. Berry's injuries and corroborating his description of how he came by them. And these are photographs of the injuries.
You seem to have thought of everything.
It avoids any misunderstanding.
What's your full name, Mr. Berry?
Hi there, Martin. You back again? Had up your man, then?
Not yet, just wondering.
Yeah, take it for up the road, see how it goes.
I'm still paying off the stereo, you see. I can't really afford it.
Come off it, Martin. I've told you. I'll do it at the right price for you, like I promised. Spread over 3 years, see? You won't notice the payments in a couple of months.
I don't know, Harry. It's still got to be found. Then there's tax and insurance.
It's a regular wage, though, isn't it? There's no short-term redundancies in your firm, is there? Hey, think of the birds you'll pull on that.
I'm applying to go on bikes in the job.
There you are, then. Boss is bound to be impressed when he sees you bought a bike of your own. And one like that.
Do you reckon?
Nothing surer. Just before you came here, I sold a bike to one of the lads. He wanted to go on bikes in the job. In no time flat, there he was. BMW twin, white helmet, full gear, the lot. Told me in confidence, mind. He's down to Chaffee boss, saying how interested he was, buying his own bike and that. Transferred like a shot.
You're kidding.
Ah, not a bit of it.
How much then, with insurance and everything? I might just manage it.
Now you're talking. Here. You take it for a run up the road. I'll go in the office and work some figures out. I couldn't do it at that price for anybody else, you know. Here, you better borrow this. I don't want to get him booked while you're trying it out, eh?
Hey, Sarge. Come outside a minute and look what I've bought.
Inspector wants to see you right away, Martin.
What you on for 10 minutes, Sarge? Just go and have a look.
No, I'm busy now. Go and see the inspector. Get properly dressed first, though.
Right, Sarge. I'll see her. Then come and have a look at what I've got.
Come in. Oh, come in, Martin. Sit down, please.
Morning, Matt. You want to see me? Have I been approved for the motorbike course?
Oh, no, I've had nothing through about that yet.
I just thought, well, my probation finishes next month and it might have come through.
No, there's nothing. That's not what I wanted to talk to you about. I've just had Vince Berry in to see me.
Vince Berry? Oh, yes. But he's got a couple of shiners this morning, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
I'm not surprised after that doing May Street yesterday, man. What a crack! Might encourage him to cut down a bit on the booze, but I doubt it.
Berry's made a complaint that you assaulted him.
Assaulted him, ma'am? That's rubbish. He walked into a wall.
He's made a signed statement that you punched him in the face.
Oh, give over, ma'am. He's telling lies. I never touched him. Well, certainly never hit him, mind you. That's what he asked for, though. I'll go and see it.
You mustn't go anywhere near him, Martin. He's made a formal complaint against you. Do you understand what that means?
Not really, ma'am. It's never happened to me before.
Well, it means I've taken the details and I shall submit them to headquarters for investigation.
Investigation?
A senior officer will be appointed and he'll want to interview you about it.
Well, it's no problem there, ma'am. I'll just tell him what I told you. He walked into a wall.
The complaint's recorded, Martin. I can't discuss it any further with you. We shall probably both come in for investigation, you because of the complaint and me as your supervising officer. Anyway, carry on for now and I'll let you know when I hear anything.
But he walked into a wall, ma'am. That's all there is to it. Thank you, ma'am.
These complaint investigations are a pain in the backside. What do you make of this one, Jim?
Seems straightforward enough on paper, sir. Unfortunate we've no corroboration of Berry's story. The statement stinks a bit. Obviously drafted with a fair bit of help from that guy Andrews. I doubt that Berry could have produced it on his own.
Aye, Andrews. Now, he's something else, isn't he? Just out after a sentence for deception, he sat through the interview without turning a hair.
They'd obviously rehearsed their story pretty well. I'm sure if you got Berry on his own, he would have cracked.
Lack of proper supervision's at the back of this, you know. Young coppers given their head will go wild. Wait till they give me my own division. I'll make a few of those so-called supervisors in the uniform branch sit up, I can tell you.
It's that woman inspector in charge here, isn't it?
It is, and that's probably half the trouble.
They speak highly of her up at the big house.
Women just aren't strong enough to control a team of men. Equality, it's a sick joke. We'll get this wound up quick enough and I'll take you to see a licensee friend of mine. You've got the suspension notice ready for Helmshire, have you?
Put it in your bag, sir.
Right. I wish I had £1 for every one of them I've served.
Helmshire will have to cough to make a job of it for us. Can't see us getting any more evidence.
Helmshire will cough. From what I've seen of his record, he's expendable. Like they said about Admiral Byng, it'll encourage the others. The file for the DPP and complaints board should be simple enough. Tied up before the weekend. 3 million unemployed and young coppers think they can behave like this and keep their jobs. Not if I can help it.
Detective Inspector Yates, headquarters. This is Detective Superintendent Nuttall. Is your inspector in?
I'll tell you here, sir.
No need, Sergeant. We can find it. Down here, isn't it? Ah, evening, Inspector. Detective Superintendent Nuttall from headquarters.
Oh, Inspector Darby, Jean Darby.
This is Detective Inspector Yates.
Hello, Jim. Long time no see.
Hello, Jean.
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
Have you got a spare office, Jean? Somewhere private for an interview?
Yes, you can use mine if you like. I was just going in for a meal, unless you want me for something.
No, this'll do fine, Jean. Thanks very much. Well, certainly see a woman's touch here, eh, Jim? Makes my office look like a monk's cell, doesn't it?
That's all you want, sir? Fancy a coffee or something? Sorry, I can't offer anything stronger.
No, thanks very much. Nothing at all. Don't want to put you to any trouble. Is Constable Helmshire about?
Yes, sir. 2 till 10. Ref's at 6, I think.
Oh, fine. We'll catch him then. Just like a few words. It's this complaint of assault, you know. Vincent Berry shouldn't take long.
He's not a bad lad, sir. Martin Helmshire. Very keen. Bit immature, but right enough.
Yes, I'm sure, Jean, I'm sure. Just a few points to clear up, that's all, not to worry. Got to satisfy the DPP and the complaints board that everything's been done. Any wrongdoers suitably dealt with. You know what he's like, Jean. Go through the motions.
I spoke to Helmshire when I first got the complaint. He didn't seem worried about it, sir. I didn't pursue it, of course.
Oh, quite right, Jean, quite right. We'll have to see if his story stands close to examination, won't we? As the old saying goes, one tale's good until another tale's told, eh?
That applies equally to Berry, I should think, sir.
We shall see. Right, Jean, you better be off. I'm sure you're busy, woman's work and all that. I'll be in touch.
Perhaps I should stay until you've seen Helmshire, sir. This is my section.
No need, Jean, no need. Enjoy your evening off. I don't expect you get too many. We don't, do we, Jim? We can manage fine.
Right, I'll leave you to it then, sir.
Oh, Jean, would you be good enough to have the duty states, disposition sheets, message pads and charge register available for the past month, please?
I'll speak to Sergeant Parrish.
Just what I needed to wind me up for our little chat with Helmshire. She couldn't see any wrong in him if she caught him with canteen spoons in his pockets. I hope it's not going to be a cover-up by the whole section, Jim. If I get the impression it is, heads will roll, mark my words.
Martin.
Sarge?
Before refs, lad, Inspector's office. The super wants to see you. It's about the Berry complaint.
What, Sarge? Can't I have refs first? Chips will go cold and I'm starving.
No, I want you now.
It's over 2 weeks ago, the Berry thing. Thought it was all over now.
It seems not. Here, old Martin, the inspector's office right away. Best not keep him waiting. Martin, keep calm and be careful.
No sweat, Sarge. I'll sort it.
Come in, please.
Constable Helmshire, sir. Do you want to see me?
Good lad, come in. I'm Detective Superintendent Nuttall from headquarters, and this is Detective Inspector Yates, who works with me.
Sir?
Sit down, lad, and relax. You're not worried about anything, are you? Just a few formalities. Look at that, will you? As you see, it's a formal notice of complaint under Section 49 of the Police Act 1964, and as you see, you're not obliged to say anything unless you wish to do so, and anything you say will be written down and may be given in evidence, but you know all that. You can have a Federation representative with you during the interview if you want, but you don't have to, of course. And I think we can sort this out without that kind of interference or the extra publicity.
Yes, sir.
That's right. Fine. What's your name, son?
Elmshaw, sir.
I know that, lad, but what's your first name? What do your mates call you?
Martin, sir.
Fine, Martin. How long have you been in the job?
Nearly 2 years now, sir.
Oh, so you're still on probation then, are you?
Yes, sir, till middle of next month.
Well, tell me a bit about yourself, Martin.
Sir?
What made you join the job?
Always wanted to be a copper, sir. Long as I can remember. School, you know.
Relatives in the job?
No, sir.
What does your dad do?
He's dead, sir. Died when I was 4.
Hey, I'm sorry to hear that, son. Mustn't have been easy.
No, sir. Just me and my mum. Don't you want to talk to me about what happened with Vince Berry, sir?
In good time. I'd like to know what sort of a lad I'm talking to first. In headquarters, you know, we don't get much chance to talk to the lads who are doing it at sharp end. I like you, Martin. You seem a promising young copper. I think we understand each other.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Gloves, Helmshaw.
Pardon?
Gloves, lad. Black leather gloves. Yours. Where are they? Yes, there we are then.
Sir?
Dark stains on them. Don't doubt for a minute the lab will say it's blood. Vincent Berry's blood, son. He said in his statement you were wearing black leather gloves and your gloves have blood stains. See what I'm getting at, Martin? Do you want to tell me what really happened in May Street with Vincent Berry?
He walked into a wall, sir.
He walked into a wall. It's almost original, that, isn't it? He walked into a wall in broad daylight. Come along, lad. That won't do.
Really, sir? That's what happened. He was very drunk, sir.
Ah, very drunk, was he? Very drunk. How drunk is very drunk?
Really drunk he was, sir. Could hardly stand.
He was that drunk, was he?
Yes, he was, sir. Shouting and bawling offensive remarks at me, you know.
Ah, well, with all this noise, somebody would hear it. Somebody would look to see what was happening. Was there anybody?
Didn't see anybody about, sir.
Pity. Real pity, that. There could have been a real help. I believe you, you know. Oh, yes, I believe you. Local yob, he's rubbish, isn't he? Gives you a fair bit of pain, I suppose.
Drunk, mostly. Don't like coppers.
Aye, that's it, lad. I know the scene. Drunk, gives you some lip, empty street, good citizens of Hartley up to their ears in fish and chips or whatever. Understandably, it needles you. See your chance, give him one. Nobody sees or nobody knows.
No, sir. He walked into a wall.
What are your duties under the Licensing Act, Constable?
Sir?
What are your powers as a police officer, your duty as a police officer in dealing with persons who are drunk in a public place, drunk and disorderly, or drunk and incapable of taking care of themselves?
I can arrest them, sir.
Fine. And taking a hypothetical case, a man who was very drunk and shouting and bawling might be thought to be drunk and disorderly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and if this same man was so drunk he would walk into a wall, he might be thought to be drunk and incapable of taking care of himself.
Yes, sir.
Good, I'm glad we agree on something. And would you think that a hypothetical police officer who witnessed all this should do something about it, such as arresting the man?
Sir, I didn't...
Unless, of course, this hypothetical police officer was about due to go off duty, didn't want to be delayed by getting involved, then he might deal with it in a totally different way. What I think you might call administering summary justice. Isn't that what really happened in May Street between you and Berry? You hit him, Elmshaw, didn't you?
No, sir, that's not true.
Now, lad, we're not going to fall out about this, are we? You're not the first to try to kid me, is you, Mr. Yates? And you certainly won't be the last. I've been lied to by experts, lad, by professionals. You're not a bad lad. You just made a mistake. Look, we've walked the beat like you, Martin, had the abuse and the insults. We understand. We're sympathetic. I want to help you, Martin. I really want to help you. But it's down to you. I can't help you if you won't help yourself now, can I? You see, we must trust each other. Now, you know you can trust me, but how can I trust you if you keep telling me nonsense? Now, we're agreed You were in neglect of duty by not arresting Berry for the drunk offences, right? Well, don't you worry about that, Martin. You could be in trouble for that, but forget it. It's not that serious that between us we can't sort it out without anybody getting hurt. But I can't go too far out on a limb, can I? Got to think about my pension at my age, eh? So, what I need to know now, Martin, is the whole truth. What made you lose your bottle and hit Berry, Martin?
I didn't, sir. Really, I didn't. Please believe me, he just walked into...
What about these, then, eh? What are you going to say when the lab identifies Berry's blood on these?
I went to him after he'd fallen down to see if he was hurt. Needed an ambulance. He said he didn't. Must have got it on then, sir.
You think you're a smart ass, don't you, Sonny? You think you can beat the system. Well, you'll learn. By God, you'll learn. To your cost. And don't think you come whining to me for help then. If you persist with these lies, I'll finish with you. People like you don't belong in my police force. And I'm going to do all I can to get rid of you.
Don't let it worry you too much, Martin. Mr. Nuttall just gets a bit steamed up sometimes.
He wants to get me sacked.
Nobody wants to get you sacked, Martin. He just thinks that you're refusing his offer of help, that's all, that you don't trust him. He's got a lot of pull at headquarters as my boss. And if he words his report the right way, then people are going to sit up and take notice. Sudden loss of control, that sort of thing, build up of pressure. Personally, I don't know how some of you young coppers keep the control you do the way things are on the street these days. In our day, people had respect for the uniform. Now it's all harassment and aggro. And some of them up at headquarters just don't understand that. But Mr. Nuttall and me, we're operational coppers at heart. We'll go out of our way to help genuine young coppers like you who've made isolated slip. Now, you tell me all about Berry, Martin. While Mr. Nuttall's out the room, you tell me exactly what happened. And I'll help it word it right for your statement.
I've told you. That's the truth, all of it. You. Both of you, you want me to imitate him? No way. If I did, neither of you could help me. I'd be sacked straight off and done for it too. Anyway, I didn't hit him. I swear I never touched Berry. I'm saying nothing. Nothing else, not till I got someone here with me. Federation rep or somebody. Inspector Darbley. I don't know what's going on, but you're trying to make me admit something I haven't done. Well, I've finished. I'm saying nothing.
That's up to you, Martin. It's your decision. Just hope you don't live to regret it, that's all.
You can go, Constable, for the time being. I may wish to see you again. This investigation is far from over. When it is, I shall report to the Deputy Chief Constable, who in turn will report to the Director of Public Prosecutions and the Police Complaints Board. They will decide on the action to be taken. Is there anything you wish to tell me before I go? This is your last chance.
No, thank you, sir.
Right. Leave your pocketbook on the desk before you go. Well, predictably, nothing about Berry. Well, Jim, what do you think?
Well, it's his word against Berry, sir. Personally, on balance, I'm inclined to believe Elmshaw. Can never be sure, but, well, that's the way I feel.
Me too. I'm fairly satisfied he's telling the truth. Though his story is unlikely. Hey, what a bloody job this is.
I didn't, sir. It's honest. Don't worry about it. They can get nasty, but if you're...
If? You're just like them. You don't believe me either.
Don't get so worked up.
Too right I worked up. Everybody listens to Berry and believes him, gospel. But me? Oh, no, nobody believes me. Well, it can all get stuffed. I've had it up to here with the old rotten setup.
Oh, there you are. Been looking for you all week. John Lates. Listen, I owe you and your mate a drink, for sorting out drivers. They've been as good as gold ever since, no problem. What do you want?
Thanks, Bill. 2 bitters.
Thank you, love. 2 pints of bitter and a large scotch. Well, what's new then, Joe?
Not a lot. Bill's getting you a drink, Martin.
No, thanks. Don't like the company in this pub. I'm going.
Well, I don't think that would call for. I've done him no harm.
It's not you, Bill. It's in there.
What, Vincent Berry? Or the bloke with him? I don't know who he is.
Don't worry about it. It's personal. Berry and Elmshaw.
Well, I thought he'd still be laughing.
Berry?
No, your mate Elmshaw.
Why?
Is he a prisoner then, or what?
Time will tell, George.
What's he in the interview room for, then?
Giving information.
What is it, Joseph? What's all the mystery? Why couldn't you tell me about it on the telephone?
I'm sorry to call you out, ma'am. I didn't think you'd want to miss this.
Come on, Joe, you only said a few minutes.
Just hang on, Bill. This is my inspector.
Good evening, Mr. Enston.
Evening, sir. Mrs. Luke, I'm sorry about cars parked in the street.
The
but
sergeant
since
tells
Joe-
me that you want to see me.
Tell the inspector what you told me, Bill. Mayor Street. Vince Berry.
Ah.
Yes, Mr. Enston?
Well, like I told you, I was in May Street picking up a fare. You know, Mrs. Ellythorne, lay preacher from Omeroyd Street Chapel, and her sister. I took them to the station. Off to Chesterfield they were to see the brother. Invalid, you know. Mrs. Legge.
Just what you saw, Bill.
Ah, right. Right, well, this young Bobby, Elmshaw, he were having a right barney with Vincent Berry. Oh, Berry were legless drunk. I shouted something at Elmshaw, then ran off when Elmshaw called him over. Then he ran straight into brick wall. Aye, it knocked him flat on his back. It were a right crack.
Come in.
You want to see me, ma'am?
Yes, I did, Martin.
Have I got it? The motorbike course, is it approved?
Not by me, it isn't. I'll talk about that later.
But, ma'am, it's almost 2 months
I said
now.
later, Martin. The Berry complaint.
That's finished, isn't it?
As I was saying, the Berry complaint. I've now received formal notification from the Deputy Chief Constable that Berry has made a full retraction of his allegation of assault, and there is to be no further action.
Well, they couldn't be, could they, ma'am? I didn't do anything.
That's just the point, Martin. You didn't do anything. That's just why you left yourself wide open for discipline proceedings.
Well, I suppose Nuttall's got to try and make something out of it. He set his stall out for that from the very beginning.
Do you mean Superintendent Nuttall?
Yeah, him and his sidekick.
That's enough! I think it's time I reminded you of a few simple home truths, Constable. Superintendent Nuttall and Inspector Yates were instructed to investigate a very serious complaint against you. As a result of that being thoroughly investigated, everybody is satisfied that the allegation was totally untrue. And there will almost certainly be a prosecution of Berry and Andrews for wasting police time. Had that inquiry been handled as casually as you dealt with the original incident, the result may have been very different.
But, ma'am, I think that's very
What
unfair.
you think does not concern me. What does concern me is that a member of my staff, and a probationer at that, failed to deal responsibly with a troublesome drunk and failed to report the incident before going off duty. Headquarters are not pleased, and more importantly, neither am I. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
That's as may be, but I'm now thinking about your future in this job. The way you've reacted to this whole affair makes me wonder. And this motorcycle application, you seem to think you've applied to join someone's flying circus or something. I hope you didn't buy that fancy bike to impress anybody, because if you did, I'm afraid you were wrong. The only thing that will impress me is conscientious effort. Now, it's not an instruction, but my advice to you is to settle down to learning the basic job and forget about motorbikes for the time being. And when you've proved yourself a competent policeman, then you can think about it.
I suppose I'm not the best copper there's ever been, ma'am. Been a bit daft, really. I'm sorry that you think I've let you down, ma'am. I want to do well. I want to do the job right.
And I think you can. or I wouldn't have supported you so far.
Thank you, Mum.
Well, there's no irreparable harm done. Perhaps we've all learned something of benefit. Off you go, Martin, and think about what I've said.
Yes, Mum.
Afternoon, ma'am. Trying to remember how to spell differential, ma'am.
Do have someone, Martin.
Thank you, ma'am.
All quiet?
Nothing doing at all, ma'am.
I'll sign your book, please. You're on earlys on Saturday, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
I wonder if you could help out. We've had a request for a man at private cost, 2 p.m. till 6 p.m.
I'm not doing anything, ma'am. I could do with the overtime, really.
There's something up on the moors. Sergeant Beck will give you the details. Scramble meeting, I think it is. They want a bobby on the paddock. If you can do it.
Great, I'll do it.
I hoped you could manage it.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the bill.
And old Ginger Whiskers standing out all round his face.
Yes, Sergeant. 8 o'clock last night, lying outside the co-op doorway in Market Street.
Billy Bottle.
Should I have necked him?
Well, perhaps moved him on.
He was paralytic drunk. We had 2. Doorway of Woolworths.
Well, that's a real treat, Arnold. Thanks very much indeed for letting me know. I appreciate it. Thanks again, Ta. Oh, boy. Right, lunch on me.
Where are we going?
Nowhere, we're too busy. Right, son. Go to Mumford's and throw caution to the winds. I'm not expecting no change.
How much? £800 for a stair carpet, not including fitting? Good Lord, where do you think I live? Alton Tower? No, thanks. I'll get another estimate somewhere else. Yes, come in. Oh, sorry, Joseph. I thought you were a carpet salesman.
No, ma'am. I just thought you...
£800 for a stair carpet. Who do they think I am, the Chief Constable? Sorry, yes, Joseph. What can I do for you?
I've just had a call from a friend in the Courts Administrator's office. He thought we'd like to know that this morning Mr. Justice Willard Jones sent Ernie Gates down for 12 years.
Oh, well, yes, thanks.
Always good these days to hear somebody getting what they deserve, ma'am.
Quite a whack, 12 years, isn't it?
Protection of society, ma'am. Very important, I think, that.
Well, this is Barbara. Barbara, this is Colin. This is Sheila.
Hello, Barbara.
Hello. Yes, well, I'll,
Would you like a cup of tea? Have some made?
Yes, Barbara.
Oh, Tom, you stop and have one with Sheila, hmm? I'll take you upstairs and show you your room then, Barbara. Eh?
Not every day you see your father sent to prison for 12 years, is it?
Letting a girl of her age be in court.
She wanted to.
So how long's she going to be here?
Alison didn't say.
Not to me, no. To you?
No, Sheila, she didn't. No.
Nor to Barbara.
Well, it is only temporary until Alison decides what's best to do.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, Tom. I know it's not your fault. But it's typical of Alison, isn't it? Doesn't matter how inconvenient it is for anyone else.
Are you overcrowded?
No, I didn't mean that. I meant how it would affect her. All the other girls here are long stay. At least they know that much. They've got that security. I don't like us being used as a staging post.
You'd like me to make that point to Alison when I see you?
I can make my own points to Alison, thank you, Tom.
Hey! I thought we were supposed to be friends. I know I haven't seen you both for a while.
Sorry.
How are things between you and Cole?
Yes, all right. I know you and Colin are old friends, Tom. Has he?
Sure, I haven't seen Colin for months.
More tea?
Yeah.
Mrs. Darby. How do you do? I'm Jeff Todd.
Mr. Todd.
Thank you for seeing me. I'll not keep you long. I just wanted some guidance. Well, I took a big risk giving evidence in court. If it hadn't been for me, Ernie Gates wouldn't have got anything like 12 years.
Yes.
He's a very dangerous man, Mrs. Darby.
No.
He's got connections.
Perhaps. Well.
Point is, I think I need protection for a while. I don't think you can refuse, can you?
I think so, Mr. Todd, yes. But just to make sure, I'll inquire. Come back later in the day. Oh, pasty's good. One spare.
Help yourself, ma'am.
Ah.
You only wanted one, didn't you?
Sarge?
A little celebratory lunch, ma'am, over Ernie Gates.
I'm Billy Bottle.
Billy Bottle? Thought he was dead, don't tell me.
Careful, ma'am.
He's resurrected himself, you might say.
I don't know.
David saw him last night in a shop doorway in Market Street.
Did you move him on, David?
Of course, ma'am.
We're not keen on vagrant alcoholics in Hartley. I'll tell you what goes nicely with these. Shandy.
Well, I paid for the pasties, didn't I?
So, not very nice the experience for you either. Did Barbara say anything to you at all?
Not one word the whole way there.
She couldn't be in a better place. Sheila and Colin will help her if anyone can. Sorry. Mrs. Cowan. Uh-huh. Oh, tell them I'm tied up just now, would you, Mary? Thanks.
How long's she likely to be there?
Sheila been getting at you?
No.
You really must learn to be a better liar. She's already been on the phone to me about it.
Well, I'd be interested to know, too.
At her age, in her circumstances, I'd think fostering would be best. But it'll take me a day or two to find exactly the right place.
Did it cross anyone's mind that her father was likely to get a heavy prison sentence?
But not that her mother would seize the opportunity to abandon her and run off with someone else.
Where's she gone?
Blackpool? What would you do?
If I found her mother? Well, she'd be prepared to talk about it.
Tell her the girl is her responsibility and she's got to accept it.
Well, that wouldn't be much help to Barbara, would it? Blinding in like that straight off. Likely to put her back up straight away.
Oh.
Am I learning?
Are you?
Well, I hope.
So, what about it then? Is this the time?
Time for what?
Well, when you joined us, presumably Alan mentioned the subject of your going on for training and proper social work qualification after you'd had some basic field work experience, did he?
Yes, he did say that would be expected, yes.
So, what about it?
Well, I'm not sure I'm ready for it.
Experience-wise, personally, or what?
All that, especially the all what.
Think it over.
But to be quite honest, Alison, I'm not sure that it's right for me, really, social work.
So, going for training would help you find out?
But it's a 2-year course. I'm not even sure if I can afford it.
Oh, it's not for me to make the final decision, but I think there's a good chance the department might second you.
Well, what would that mean? I mean, in financial terms.
Well, we'd pay your training costs, give you a grant for books and so on, pay you a salary. Not what you're getting now, but a salary. Let's see. Your wife's working, isn't she?
Oh, you mean, could I swallow my pride?
Yes. All right, if you like.
Oh, well, I'm only 3 generations older than you, Alison. I'll talk to her.
Well, how do you feel about it?
Stop sounding like a professional social worker.
Well, it is what matters.
Yeah, the trouble is, I don't really know. Wouldn't know how to talk it over with Colin.
Oh, do you mean at Mariner House Community Home? Chap was married to what's her name? Yeah, good idea. Why not?
2-year courses. Mature non-graduates are welcome. Experience in social work is an admission requirement. Manchester, Liverpool. Either of those would be okay. Near enough. See if they gave me a place. If I wanted a place.
Look, let's talk about it some more. What are the pros and cons? Trying to list them might help. So, first of all, in favour of you going on a course that would end up with you having a proper recognised qualification. Number 1. Afterwards, there'd be a whole new range of jobs open to you that you couldn't even be considered for as you are now. Number 2, money. The salary you'd be able to earn then would be far. What's the matter?
Are you sure you're not a professional social worker?
Listen.
I suppose he's entitled to protection.
If he hadn't turned Queen's evidence, he'd probably gone down for 12 years himself. So, that was his protection.
Does he seriously think Ernie Gates has enough influence from inside the nick to have him seen to?
I don't know what Todd seriously thinks. Whatever it is, it's enough to have got him inside a police station voluntarily.
Message just come through from Moortop, Sergeant. Will I get pasties again today?
Don't they have anything else?
Savoury mince mutton pancakes?
Pasties.
Pasties.
Oh, well. Did you know Ernie Gates had a daughter?
I think I did hear something said about it once by somebody. Only since she's never been in any trouble. Barbara Gates, 14. Picked up at Moortop Bus Depot at 1 a.m. by Woman Police Constable McKee and returned to Mariner House Community Home for Girls. Well, thanks for letting us know.
Oh.
Oh, yes. Just a minute.
Oh, sorry.
No thanks.
Barbara, I have a statutory duty. That means that I've no choice. I've got to do it. To look after you and take care of you and find you somewhere to live. And I put you here just to begin with Colin and Sheila, until I could sort out one or two possible places and then come and have a chat with you about what you thought you'd like best. But you don't have to stay here any longer at all if you don't want to. If I found, say, an ordinary family in an ordinary house, would you stay there instead with them for a few days? I do have to know, Barbara. I'd much sooner we worked out together where you were going. But if we can't, then I shall have to apply for a court order, which means that I have the power to decide on my own what to do with you, whether you like it or not.
I'm not going to stop anywhere.
Well, you're old enough to understand this. If you go on running away, you'll only be brought back. And then I shan't have any choice but to put you somewhere that you can't run away from. Have you had a chat with Sheila about this at all?
No. Well, we've not really had the time yet, have we, Barbara?
Look, I must go and see one of the other girls for a few minutes. Why don't you and Sheila have
I want
a
to
little...
talk to you.
Yes, all right then.
On our own in private.
Right, well, I've got to go and see about... So I'll just...
Right. Okay.
I don't want to have to stop here.
Well?
Todd, Mum. Geoffrey Todd.
Yes?
I think I know why he feels he needs protection. Particularly, I mean.
Yes?
And Sergeant Beck's just made a telephone call to one of his contacts, too, to check it.
It's not absolutely definite, but it certainly sounds like it.
I hadn't put two and two together, as you might say.
Well, I'm going to Foxcross to look at some stair carpets, see if you can have got to the point by the time I get back.
It's his wife, Mum.
Whose wife? What is?
Ernie Gates, ma'am.
It's truth, this is hard work. What about Ernie Gates's wife?
The whisper is that Todd was messing about with her while Gates was in custody waiting to come up for trial. And now he's gone down, they've shacked up together permanently. Which would be a good reason for Todd thinking he was in need of some protection.
Oh. Well, all right. Let's ask Mr. Todd to come back and have another little chat with us, shall we?
Thanks, Bob.
Oh, John, cheers.
No, thanks for coming.
You pressed for time?
Oh, no, just a bit cold, that's all.
You met my wife before, haven't you?
Yeah, I think so, once. She's in the police force, isn't she?
She says you try and slip in, join us for a quick one.
Ah, good.
Well, we wanted some advice. Well, I did. So I thought who better than an old mate who's been in it a lot longer than I have. Social work.
Oh.
Alison thinks it's time that I was going on for proper training.
Yeah.
And if I did, well, the department would probably, possibly, second me.
Oh, jump at it.
Yeah?
Well, 10 years' time, you'll not even get the sort of job you've got if you're not qualified. All you'd be in with a chance for would be T-boy. Probably not even that if you didn't have a certificate.
You qualified?
No. Sheila is there, which will be a great help.
You mean will be?
If we separate, she'll be able to get a good job more or less anywhere.
I'm sorry. I didn't realise it had got to that stage. Well, are you going to take your own advice? Get qualified?
Not sure.
I'm not all that keen on some of the other people in social work at present.
Alison.
No, I'm not being specific. It's just that... Oh, look, Tom, I'm sorry. I've just remembered I want to get a bunch of flowers for Sheila before they close for lunch. The other half, a quick one.
No, I'm all right, no. No, it's like Jean's going to be late anyway. Birthday, is it?
What? Oh, no. No. Oh, please say I'm sorry. Give your wife my regards. Just because it might not suit one person, I mean, that doesn't mean it might not be completely different for somebody else. I mean it, Tom. If you've got the chance, you take it.
Mrs. Granger's got 2 children, a boy and a girl. I think one's 6, the other's about 8. Mr. Granger died last year. I think you'll like them. I think they'll like you. But it's only for 2 or 3 days to begin with, okay? Right then, come on.
Oh, look, I mean... All right, it's not illegal, is it? I mean, it's not against the law. It happens every day. You meet somebody, you fall for each other and pump, that's it.
Sounds really world-shaking. Pump.
I'm not a very emotional man.
Well, I'm not a very emotional woman. But I hope I could inspire someone a bit more than that.
Anyway, I'm after this job. This is a good chance I'll get it, and if I do, well, it'll be in Norwich. We'll be moving there.
Good. Because we can't give you protection, Mr. Todd. Not for moving in with someone else's wife when he's been sent to prison. So my advice would be to do what you're thinking of doing. Run.
Hard.
Look, I'll tell you the truth. It's not Ernie Gates' wife. I mean, if it was, there'd be no problem. I mean, she's a write-off. Dead lost. Nobody knows where she is or cares. It's not his wife, it's his girlfriend.
Oh, well. I can see that's much more serious, yes.
Yes, it is. So?
But hard luck. Sorry, no.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to take this up. I'm going to take this up with somebody higher up.
By God.
Don't you ever get the feeling you've never really lived? Oh, I was supposed to be meeting Tom. Oh, well.
Thanks, Mary. Yes, ask him to come straight in, would you please? Come in.
Yes, Alison? Well, do tell me what it's all about. I get home after lunch to find that you've taken Barbara away and told Sheila to tell me to phone you immediately I get in. I do, and what I get's a message saying you want to see me at 4 o'clock. It's now precisely 1 minute past 4. Here I am.
You idiot, Colin.
What did she say to you?
Who?
Alison, before she took Barbara away.
I've told you nothing. Only phone
Barbara?
her. No.
So you don't know what this is all about?
No, Colin, I've no idea what it's about.
Barbara? has made an allegation about me. Oh, no, Colin, no. How could she?
Yes, sir. I'll give her the message as soon as she comes. Thank you, sir. Goodbye. Hartley to 8018. Hartley to 8018.
Again last night? Where this time?
Under that old broken-down bridge to the canal.
Did you move him on, David?
It was built in the rain. Just moved him a bit further under out of the wet.
Oh, you better not tell the boss that. And look, son, next time you trip over him, nick him. At least that way he'll get a nice warm night in the cells and get some breakfast or something.
Sarge. How old is he anyway?
Billy Bottle? How old's Billy Bottle, George?
Oh, it's hard to say with all those whiskers on him. Must be 40 now, though, mustn't he?
40? But he looks more like 70.
Yeah, it gets you like that when you're as far gone as he is. Morning, ma'am.
Morning. Anything further come through about Scott and Evans, George?
No, nothing yet, Mum. Oh, Chief Inspector Charles says, would you phone, please, when you come in?
Yeah, OK.
I remember reading this article in the Clarion once. Apparently, there was this young police cadet got interested in vagrant alcoholics, so they gave him a month's leave to go and live with them, really study them. But I think after 3 weeks...
Wonder if they give me time off to go and study the social problems of the Bahamas.
No,
He was whispering.
Go and have a talk with Father O'Brien at St. Jude's.
Who?
Will you think someone tried to break into the...
Billy Baldwin, I've propped him up.
What?
Nothing you can make any sense out of. He keeps his head down like that all the time.
But anyway, though, you're happier here than you were at Mariner House.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Who gave you that? Mrs. Granger? Barbara, I'm going to say something to you. And before you say anything in reply at all, please think very carefully. If what you said about Colin is true, he's going to lose his job. Do you want to think about it for a minute? Sorry?
Come on, Colin. Take your coat off, eh? Now, make yourself comfortable. Sit down. I don't often get home at lunchtime, but I was near and get a fed up in pubs and places, don't you?
Yeah. Did you want a smoke?
No, of course not. Now, so what do I owe the pleasure?
Sure.
Another pep talk about getting qualified?
I'm in need of your help, Tom.
Oh, well, ask. Anything. Yeah, just, you know that.
That girl you brought to the house the other day, Barbara Gates.
Oh, yeah? How's she getting on?
When you brought her over in the car, did anything happen, like, between you and her?
No. I mean, like what? Why?
Oh, no, it's okay. I just thought it might have. That would have helped me, you see.
Poor little kid. She was really down. She'd been in court, you know, when her father was...
She's made an allegation about me.
Hey? Oh, ridiculous. Well, it's her word against yours. Well, who's going to believe that?
Alison believes it. She's taken the kid away. I've been suspended from work. Alison insists I resign.
You what? Oh, come on, man, that's preposterous.
Maybe. I can't do a thing about it.
God. I can't credit it. Well, maybe the middle of the day, but I could do with the brandy. Sure, you could, too. I'm sorry, Colin, but she's lying, isn't she? Of course she is.
Hartley Police. Hold on. Scott and Evans for you, Mum.
Oh, what colours have you got in stock? Is that all? Just those three? Oh, all right, thank you. I'll have a think about it. Honestly, it'd be easy to take the stairs out and put a lift in.
Is this it?
For the moment, ma'am, yes.
Not what you call cast iron evidence to make an arrest on, is it?
We've reason to hope we may soon have a statement from an informant that should tie it all up neatly.
Informants, what would we do without them? Oh, that reminds me. Chief Inspector Charlesworth says we can tell Mr. Todd there will be no ring of armed policemen around his house, or for that matter, not even one. But any patrol car happening to find itself in the vicinity might occasionally cast an eye.
I'm sure that'll fill him with total confidence, ma'am.
And when you tell him, don't wrap it up. Just let him stew gently in his own... Do you think it shows, Joseph, that I don't much like Mr. Todd?
Well, just a little. Still, like you say, we can't really do without people like him. Though in his case, you do seem to dislike him rather more than most, if I may make so bold.
It's got nothing to do with him being an informer, though. It's because he's a snake.
Ah, yes, I see.
No, you don't see, Mum. But as we're on the subject, I'll tell you. 6 years ago, he got hold of some letters a friend of mine had been indiscreet enough to write to someone who wasn't her husband. He asked her for money, and when she said she couldn't pay and he'd better do his damnedest, that's exactly what he did do. The very next morning, there were copies of the letters on her husband's desk when he arrived at work. He jumped in his car to drive back home, much too fast, skidded at a roundabout and went straight under a container lorry.
Was there no way of nailing Todd?
She told me, but he'd been far too clever for there to be any evidence. So she was left a widow with 3 children, and the feeling for the rest of her life that it was her fault her husband had been killed. He doesn't know I know, though. Some things are better kept quiet, aren't they? Till an appropriate time.
You've really asked for his resignation? You really have? Well, I think it's monstrous. I think it's absolutely downright monstrous.
I'm sorry, Tom. I've told you already. I'm not going to discuss it.
Well, I'm sorry too, Alison, but I am. Now, look, you can't just turn it off like that. It's not Colin's idea for me to come and see you, no. This is my idea. I protest about his treatment in the strongest possible terms. I protest. Now, look, I took her all the way from the court to Mariner House in the car. She could have made up any fairy story she liked about me if she had when I had been asked to resign.
Tom, I really am very busy, so do you mind?
Alison, you've crushed the man. He's absolutely shattered. Now, look, Alison, I shouldn't say this, perhaps, but... well, he and Sheila are going... their marriage is going through a very rocky patch just now.
I know that, yes.
Well, he's not going to have any chance at all of surviving now, is he?
That is something that only Colin and Sheila can work out between them.
Oh, you're just going to stand aside and say it's nothing to do with you? I thought social work was supposed to be about caring for people.
Tom, I am not going to discuss other people's personal affairs.
Oh, that's marvellous, marvellous. Well, and you say there's not even going to be some kind of inquiry so he can defend himself? Just got to resign, that's it, finish?
I hope there'll be no inquiry. Barbara is unsettled and disturbed enough as it is.
Well, there you are then. That's exactly the point. Barbara is unsettled and disturbed. And yet you'll kick a man out of his job just because somebody like that...
Mrs. Cowan. Yes, Mary, tell them I'll be along there in a moment. Thank you. I'm sorry. I have to go. I'm due at a case conference. Excuse me.
So this is what you want me to train to become like, is it? An iceberg, not a flicker of warmth or feeling for someone showing anywhere.
I should sit down and calm down, Tom, if I were you. Shall I ask Mary to bring you in a cup of tea?
No, no thanks.
Oh, hello, love. Didn't know you'd be back.
Well, I am.
Something wrong?
No.
Tom, we haven't been married as long as we have just to play silly games. Tell me what the matter is, please.
Now, don't you start giving me orders.
I'll not only give you orders, I'll knock your block off, sunshine, if you go on behaving like a great big kid. Please forgive me. I've had a very hard... I'm really sorry.
I've been to see Alison today.
Yes?
About... well, it's a confidential matter to do with somebody in the department.
Confidential means you're not going to tell me?
I can't very well. Well, not at the moment, no. It's just that somebody I know and like has been accused of an of misconduct. Allison's decided straight off that he's guilty and he's demanded his immediate resignation.
Oh.
I mean, it's the most unfair, the most outrageous piece of high-handedness I've ever heard of. I go and try and talk to her about it, and she flatly refuses even to discuss it.
And has she got this resignation?
I don't know if she's got it in writing. She's got mine.
Pardon?
That's why I came home early to write the letter. Caught the afternoon post to get it in the morning.
Tom, you've what?
Well, I suppose I better be going. Go out the back way in case anyone sees me.
You've been suspended from duty, but you can come and see me. No one can stop you doing that. How are Anne and Derek? Are they all right?
Fine. Sorry.
You've been taking pills again?
It helps.
Did you tell them about it, Anne and Derek?
No. I just said things were bad between you and me again. We needed a few days apart to think things over.
Oh, thanks.
Well, it's true in a way. I have been thinking things over, she.
Good.
Well, let's not have any recrimination. Let's just draw a line under it. OK, it's over, it's finished, that's it. I'm too tired to even try to fight anymore. You, Alison. I'm sorry, I just can't be bothered anymore.
You're so up to your eyes in tranquilizers, you're not giving yourself much of a chance,
she,
are
it's
you?
It's all right. I thought I'd go back to Hull.
All right. I want you to know this, Colin. Wherever you go, I'm going to be there with you.
Really? Oh?
Well, yes, I see.
Not even being given the chance to defend himself. That's what gets me. His job, his marriage, all down the drain on the word of a 14-year-old girl.
And Alison would say absolutely nothing to you. She just stonewalled.
Nothing at all.
You've asked yourself why?
Well, it's perfectly obvious why, isn't it? She's got about as much human feeling as that. Are you defending her?
No. I'm trying to think of the position Alison's in.
Never mind about the position Alison's in. What about the position Colin's in?
Exactly.
What do you mean? What are you saying?
Look, I'm only guessing. But has it struck you that she won't say anything to you because there's nothing she can say that wouldn't be a total breach of confidence and reveal something to you about him that she couldn't even so much as drop a hint about it to you, could she?
What do you mean? I mean, for example, there might have been a previous incident, something like that.
It's not impossible, is it?
Yes, but... Oh, no, good Lord, you'd have to make it worse. I mean, if that was the case, you'd be forevermore at the mercy of the slightest whisper.
Yes. So you'd think he'd make absolutely certain that he never allowed himself to be in a situation where anyone could allege anything, wouldn't you?
Oh, God. Don't let you have your letters back when you post them, do they? Oh, well, never mind. I never liked social work much anyway. I was never very good at it either. I was too ready to chuck my weight about. I'll get it. Hello. Oh, hello, Sheila. How are you? No, of course I'm not too busy to talk.
What time last night?
The accident was reported as occurring at 20:15, ma'am.
In Vernon Street, you say?
Yes, ma'am, at the top. The corner where the traffic lights are by the church. The car mounted the pavement and crushed him against the wall. He was dead on arrival at the hospital.
Well. So, that's the end of Mr. Geoffrey Todd.
Yes, ma'am. In a way, it, well, solves a few matters, you might say, doesn't it?
Silly. I can't help it, but I do. I feel a bit guilty somehow. Do you?
No, I can't say I do, to be honest. No, not in the slightest. And with respect, I don't think you should either.
He'd come and ask us to give him protection.
There was no way we could have protected him against being knocked down and killed in a road accident.
If it definitely was an accident, was it?
I would say so fairly certainly, yes. There's no doubt about it whatsoever.
How's that?
The driver of the car that killed him was 73, and she's in hospital herself, with a broken arm and extensive injuries to her head.
Yes, well. I don't feel glad about it, though. And I always thought I would do if something happened to him. Do you know what I do feel, Joseph? Cheated. That's not really very nice, is it?
Oh, sorry, Tom. Oh. Honestly, some of those magistrates just go on and on and on. Hasn't Mary given you a cup of coffee? Please.
No, well, yes, she did offer me
What
one.
can I do for you?
Well, I've come to say, can I have it back?
Of course, yes. Whatever it is, I've got a terrible memory. What is it that I've got that's yours?
Well, that letter, the one I posted yesterday.
Oh, well, you know what the post's like.
Oh. Oh, would you do me a favour when you do get it? Give it me back without opening it.
Why? Is it rude?
Well, you could say that. Another word would be intemperate. Another one would be rash. Another one would be offensive. And another one would be very, very stupid.
Wow. Well, we all fly off the handle now and again, don't we? I know I do.
I also wrote I was handing in my notice. I'd like that to be ignored too, please, if possible.
It is ignored. I never took it seriously for a moment.
Oh, well, that's all right then, so long as the... thought you said you hadn't had it.
Oh, well, just now while you were speaking, it vaguely seemed to ring a bell. But I didn't take it seriously. I threw it away. So let's forget it. What happened to make you change your mind?
My wife happened. You mean about Colin, though, don't you?
Oh, do I?
She'd have rang up last night, said they're both resigning together.
Oh.
Oh. No, I can't do it. You don't give a damn thing away, do you? Resignation or dismissal, that was the choice you offered him, wasn't it? If you dismissed him and he appealed, then it would have come out, wouldn't it? You had 2 previous warnings already.
That's right. Now let's talk about something else, shall we, all right? Only, I hope you'll believe this. I like Colin a lot. He's got some marvellous qualities, so I think it's desperately sad. Anyway, while you are here, what I really wanted to say was, I've been making a few phone calls to see if any of the training colleges have got any course places left. I knew it was getting very, very late for applying this year, so I hope you'll forgive me taking the liberty. It's a pretty depressing picture, I'm afraid. Manchester, no. Liverpool, no. Leeds, no. Birmingham, no. North London, no. It's more or less the same all over the country.
Oh. Well, thanks for trying. So it's been such a waste of time.
Almost, but not quite. Out of the whole country, there is one place left on one course, and by a sheer stroke of luck, the principal's someone I was at school with. I know it's rank string pulling, but if you want it...
Well, one place in the whole country? Where?
Dover.
Dover?
Dover. What did you say?
What do you think I said?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking you. What did you say?
Thanks, but no thanks, of course.
Why?
What do you mean, why? I wouldn't dream of going that far away from it. You know it. It's over 300 miles, you know.
Well, there are things called letters and telephones. And you'd have the college holidays, longer holidays than I get, so don't just...
Jean, you're not serious, are you?
If she's willing to use her connections to get you the only place at college going vacant in the entire country, that is some compliment.
You're mad.
You are if you don't take it.
Oh, I see. You've gone off me. You want to get me out of the way.
Shift down.
No, listen, hang on. I love you, Tom.
I love you.
So much so that I don't know how I'll do it. I don't know how I'll bear to live without you, but I will. I'll put up with it if at the end of it you have a training and a qualification that'll last you forever, for the rest of your life. And as for money, well, we could live without a stair carpet a little while longer. Think, Tom. How many lives have we got to do something with? Another one. Don't. You can't. Don't waste it.
Come on, Billy.
Seven 823 to Hartley. I'm on the waste ground off Valley Road to Valley Bottle. I think he's dead and I need an ambulance. 7 823 out.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the Bill.
I who have nothing. To fancy clubs and restaurants,
14 heavy-duty HGV batteries, a sort of manufacture, all new. Item 3 pneumatic jacks. Pneumatic. P. L-M-N-O-P. P-N. Detective Sergeant Melchett. Oh, hello, sir. What, from London? What do they want up here? State secret, is it? Yes, I'll do that. I'll ask them. When I'm expecting them this afternoon? Right, better tell the boss, hadn't I? Do we have names for these two Wallies? Who? Winder. Right, Winder, yeah. For what? Oh, for Nell. Right, thanks, sir. Yes, if I find out, I'll let you know.
You're not trying to tell me Waterloo Estate's a radio dead spot all of a sudden, are you?
Tough set. Might not have been charged right.
Yeah. One day that'll happen and it'll be urgent.
Leave it out. I'll have it checked.
Hello, ma'am.
Sergeant,
Who won?
who do you expect?
You?
Oh, don't sound so surprised about it.
By heck. Nailed him.
What did he get?
240 hours community service.
Well, you've made my day. I was beginning to think that young hooligan would never get his card marked.
A real feather in your cap, ma'am.
Aye, very creditable.
You're very kind, but I can do without it, you know. Every time I get a result, you treat it like some minor miracle. If you've any congratulations left over, you might remember Roland here. I couldn't have done it without my star witness.
Well done, lad. Now, the inspector wouldn't say it if she didn't mean it.
Help shop.
Can't do anything right, can we?
How long before you admit she's got a point, Joe?
Can we help you, sir? I want to see someone.
Right. Will I do, sir?
No.
Mr. Greenwood, isn't it? What can we do for you, sir?
I want to see Gaffer.
Yes, well, you tell me what it's about and I'll decide that, sir, if you don't mind.
It's about yon foreigner up at Tarnhill House killing my sheep.
Strictly speaking, your sheep shouldn't have been on the road, should it, Mr. Greenwood?
Oh, where have you been, love? Can't have had one.
No, I do realise that, but you've no actual proof that it was Mr.
Palin
who ran over it.
There's only him and me uses that back road, and he drives it like it's a bloody racetrack. And that's for now, man. What's it going to be like when he's open, damn place? Cars at all hours, half of them too tanked to see straight on them lanes.
There was an inquiry, Mr. Greenwood, to consider all these objections before any licence was granted.
I know. I were there. But a right fix do.
That's rather a wild allegation.
He'd greased off Palmsby then.
I think you ought to be a bit careful what you say, Mr. Greenwood.
Look, love. Should I tell you what he offered me to drop me objection?
None of this is strictly relevant to your dead sheep, Mr. Greenwood.
Except there's going to be more, isn't there? Bound to be.
No, not if you repair your walls or whatever and keep them where they're supposed to be.
Oh, well. Bloody obvious whose side you're on.
I am on no one's side. Now, whoever ran over that sheep hasn't reported it, which is an offence. I shall certainly be going to talk to Mr.
Talk?
It will be investigated, but as regards the future, you are his nearest neighbour, and like it or not, I think you're just going to have to make some effort to live together.
I hate him. I hate what he's doing. Bloody drinking and God knows what. My place used to be home farm to Tarnhill House once. I can remember when folk like him wouldn't get past gate. No. You tell him from me any more trouble and I shan't bother to come here again. I'll sort it myself.
Send him up after lunch.
Right, boss.
Hello, Pete. How's tricks?
What's this? Lose your way off the North Circular, did you?
Bearer of bad news, I'm afraid. Martin's out.
So what went wrong? I mean, he got 15, didn't he? Wants to tell me about it.
Took it on his toes, didn't he?
Escaped?
Yeah, went up for his appeal, jumped the screws.
Stroll on.
I had a bit of help with him, mind you.
He'll be looking for you, Pete.
Well, yes, he would, wouldn't he?
Take him a bit to find, Joe.
What are you going to do? Well, we're here.
I can't drop out of sight again. I'm supposed to be opening this place in a fortnight.
Best talk to the locals. Get them sorted.
Bloody hell.
What we doing here, huh? I mean, what's it matter? He's a slag the same as Martin.
It's not Pete we're bothered about, is it? It's nicking Martin when he comes to do him. That's why we're here, Cole.
Are we? Looks like they want you to back up.
Have to learn their manners then, won't they?
Squaddies.
Here. See that bit of skirt? Could have sworn she had pips up.
Sheep? I never touched his sheep.
There aren't many cars use that lane, Mr. Palin.
You're here because of a sheep. One dead beast may not seem a lot to you, sir, but somebody like Mr. Greenwood, it's a big loss.
Are you saying that I killed it? I'm bloody have him.
He's saying it could have been, and I'm asking if it was.
It'd have been him a deep freeze by now, wouldn't it?
They call that theft.
Oh, for pity's sake.
If it wasn't you, sir, have you any idea who it could have been?
Look, I've got electricians, carpet layers, blooming great furniture vans coming and going. How the hell am I supposed to know?
Yes, well, we'd like a list of all the vehicles that may have used the lane this morning so they can be checked. Also, I understand that you gave an undertaking to the inquiry, Mr. Palin, to restrict all vehicular access to the premises to the drive leading off the main road so that this back lane wouldn't be used.
Once we were opened, we're not yet. What we were talking about there were the punters' cars, that's all.
I think you might be well advised to make that all cars, including your own, as of now, Mr. Palin.
Well, that adds another 4 miles on.
I don't want Greenwood provoked into starting a range war.
Miserable git.
He's been here a lot longer than you have.
So what?
So, you'll abide by your undertaking, or I'll have this place closed so fast you won't know what's hit you.
Bloody knockcott!
We, passed in the lane. Wonder what Pete had been up to.
Murdering sheep.
What is this? Who are you?
Detective Inspector Winder, Detective Sergeant Thornell. Shall I inspect your card, Cole?
What's going on here?
You the governor?
Of this section, yes.
Oh, just about to make our number with you.
Save your breath. All she's interested in protecting is dumb sheep.
Just what is going on here?
I thought we were expecting governor.
Not by me.
Well, that's not our fault, is it? I mean, if your people don't tell you these things.
Oh, hello. I'm glad you're back.
Were you aware of the fact that we have 2 officers from the Met sitting on our patch?
Yes, Winder and somebody. I've got it written somewhere.
Then why the blazes didn't you tell me?
I've been trying to catch you.
Did it not occur to you to leave a message? I can read.
I didn't think it to make much sense.
At least it might have saved me from giving the impression that I didn't know what was going on in my own section.
I don't get it. Who's been having a go at you?
That's not the point, Sergeant, is it? But since you ask, they have. Our 2 visitors from London, who no doubt think that we're just clod-upping country cousins without us going out of our way to prove them right.
Sorry, Mum.
The point is, Sergeant, you had a clear duty to make sure I received that information at the earliest possible moment, not just when it suited you, sometime never.
Point taken, Mum.
Yes, well, I hope it is. Right. Now, I think Mr. Logan ought to be in on this, don't you?
Well, if I knew what they were here for, I might be able to say.
I think you better ring your wife, David. Warn her you might be late home.
She's a bit of all right, isn't she? Huh? Your governor.
How do you mean?
A good looker. Wouldn't you say, Gov? Depends whether you like it in uniform. Never gone for it myself. How about you, Sergeant?
Never thought about it, sir.
Yeah, I can believe that. I was an obos with a woman inspector once. Very popular lady.
I think you'll find Inspector Darbley's pretty popular herself around these parts.
I couldn't do it, you know. Take orders from a skirt.
The only thing that counts is how well the job gets done. Inspector Darbley's as good as any male boss I've known.
Your trouble, you're just a sexist pig, Cole.
Sorry to have kept you.
Oh, that's all right. Sergeant Beck's been keeping us well amused. He's a real fan of yours.
Detective Sergeant Melchett, Detective Inspector Winder, Detective Sergeant Fornell. Do you think you could find us another chair, please, Sergeant?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, well, so we all know what we're talking about. I think you better fill Sergeant Melchett in up to date.
You got a fella living up here called Palin, Peter Palin.
Tarn Hill House Country Club, owner of.
London bloke, right?
Ran a string of drinking clubs and restaurants. Thing is, he had a business partner called Martin Wright, and he's a real villain. Palin was the front man. The way they work it, Wright knocks over some security van, supermarket or something, and the money gets laundered through the business. Buys another restaurant, maybe.
It's not unknown.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Oh, Tarjo.
See you in the morning.
Yes, ma'am. Good night.
Oh, good night, Joe.
Anyway, I don't know why, but Palin decides he's not happy.
Oh, I reckon he just got greedy.
Yeah, well, whatever, he grasped him. Got Wright sent down for a 15 stretch. Then he sold up, pocketed all the money, his partner's as well as his own, and cleared off up here.
This is a fellow who's just been granted a liquor licence.
Well, why not? He's clean, he's got no record.
Unsavoury associations, at the very least.
So what's your interest now?
Martin Wright got himself sprung 3 days ago.
And you think he could be headed this way?
Well, I know the way he feels about Palin, I'd put money on it.
But no proof that he is?
No. Only if he is, and if he gets to him.
If he was prepared to stay put in one place, his house, then I might be able to offer him some level of protection.
That's just backstop stuff, though, isn't it?
Only real protection is to make sure Wright never gets that near him.
Well, I presume every police force in the country will be doing that. I mean, we are talking about an escaped criminal. Hopefully he'll never get this far.
Hopefully.
Still, got to assume he will, though, haven't we?
Yes, I realise that.
Look, a little back end of nowhere like this should be able to clock who comes in, no bother.
Just how many men do you think I've got?
Road checks, rail stops, bus station, how many does it take?
For how long?
Till he's nicked.
You don't actually know that he's headed this way.
He is. Just take it from us.
You've no proof.
Well, what do you think we're doing here? If I wasn't 100% certain, do you think my governor would let us swan all the way up here?
He could just as easily be making for his wives, his girlfriends, abroad even.
He's got no wife, his bird's being watched, just in case I'm wrong, but I'm not.
You give me something solid like proof that he's actually headed this way, and I will ask Division for reinforcements and give Palin blanket protection. But until then, he will have to make do with loose surveillance. I will send a car round his house and his club at regular intervals.
Who's your governor?
Detective Chief Inspector Logan, only he works out of division.
Right, you make us a meet with him, son. We're staying at a place called...
Bellin.
We'll be waiting to hear from you.
Detective Chief Inspector Logan is fully aware that it still comes back to a question of my manpower.
I'm sure he is, Ma'am, but it just seems to me he ought to know what's going on. Night, both. You may reckon your pin-up girl's the best thing that's happened since Charlie's Angels, Sergeant. But I can tell you she wouldn't last 2 days where we come from. And if she doesn't get hold of what policing's all about, we're going to have this station jumping.
Today started so well. Go home, David. If your tea's spoilt, tell your wife to blame me.
Thank you, Mum.
Sergeant Martin. Hello, love. Still at it?
They call it dedication. I don't know what the answer is, except maybe getting a dictaphone in the car, dictating as I go along.
Oh, get some funny looks from the traffic cops. This room's a mess. In fact, it's a right tip.
Suppose it is.
What do you mean, you suppose it is?
When you get used to it, you start seeing it after a while.
Wants redecorating for a start. I'll have to... What colour do you fancy? Then we might have some incentive to keep it tidy.
What's that?
It's this crazy life we lead. Both of us too knackered to do anything except fall into bed and sleep.
Look, it's not easy writing these things. I'm getting behind as it is. Can you just let me finish this one, then we can talk,
Anything to eat? Sorry.
I bought some chips in.
Suppose I better make myself something then. Except I can't be bothered. Fancy a drink?
Not a bad day.
Morning, Court.
Oh, well done.
We've got 2 Met coppers visiting. Oh, they really know how to rub you up the wrong way. Do you know, today I've been treated like the head girl of an all-boys school. Tolerated as a temporary aberration.
Oh, I'm sorry, love.
The trouble is, they might be right. And I was less than helpful, not only because of what they wanted, but also because I didn't like them.
Well, perversity isn't confined to women, is it?
Not many men would admit it. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. Somehow retrieving the situation.
Right. Thanks. Hanging on there, are you? Yeah. Well, let us know one way or the other. Aye, will do.
Anything I should know?
Bentley's just been on from the hospital. Palin's still alive. I reckon he'll likely stay that way as well.
Conscious.
Mr. Logan's waiting for you in your office, Mum.
It's only just occurred to somebody to inform us. What kind of ship do you run, lady?
As tight as you'll find.
Got them well trained, have you, to cover for you? Give you time while you get your excuses sorted? Well, let's just get clear on one thing. If we've missed Nick him right, it's down to you.
If you want your meet with Mr. Logan, you better follow me. If you ever have anything to say to me again, Inspector, you'll know your time and your place, or I'll have you off my patch for good and all. Detective Inspector Winder, sir, and Sergeant Fornell. They've only just heard.
Gentlemen. Sir. You'll not have been out to the scene, then? No, sir. Oh, well, it's best not to have too many feet tramping all over. I left scenes of crimes well at it.
At least we've not got murder, sir.
Yet.
Chances are we won't have either. The hospital's just been on.
He's lucky, then.
I take it he's not able to talk yet. Lucky, but not right helpful, then. I see that you reckon this escape con Martin Wright for it.
Always sworn he'd get him. We even had a whisper that's why he got himself sprung, didn't we, Gov?
Well, if it was him, he'll not be on our patch now, then.
Sergeant Tunstall there, please. Sergeant Beckett Hartley. Ta. Fred. Yeah, it must be all of that. Listen, Fred, you know this fella Martin Wright who's gone over the wall at the Scrubs? Well, we've got these two Met Wallers sitting on us up here, reckoning he's going to turn up here. It's a long story, Fred. The thing is, I've got a sneaking suspicion that this Wright fella might be on your patch, not ours. What do you reckon? Now, what I'm trying to say is, he could be. And I'd like these two Met Jacks to think he is. Do you follow me? That's the idea, Fred. Champion.
Engine was still warm. I reckon it must have happened not more than an hour before he was found.
Which was at 7:53. Any vehicle seen at or near the house between 6 a.m. and 7:45?
We can narrow that down a bit, sir. We've been keeping a regular eye on Tarnhill House as of last night. P.C. Clegg's previous visit was at 6:30 this morning. Nothing out of the ordinary.
The gun, then. Fired, yes?
At him or by him?
No obvious bullet wound that I could see.
Checking with the hospitals? Anything that we've missed? Yes, Inspector?
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Thought you ought to know. We've had word Wright may have been sighted.
Where?
Manchester, sir.
When?
Last night. He booked into a hotel. This morning they found he'd left without paying his bill.
Identified by photo, have they?
As far as I know.
I take it you've no objection if Sergeant Fornell and I drive over to Manchester, sir?
There's no reason to believe that he'd go back there?
We'd like to make sure, just to say, might turn something up.
Up to you.
Yeah, to get in touch with Sergeant Tunstall. He's got all the details. He'll fill you in. You'll find him at headquarters. If you don't know the way, I'll give you directions.
What were you going to say, Jean?
I think we're in danger of getting blinkered by this Martin Wright fella. I think we should be very careful to keep an open mind. Because despite what these two gentlemen seem so sure of, I'm not at all convinced that this attack has anything to do with Wright.
Why?
It looks like Palin was beaten up, badly. But that's not the same thing at all as someone actually trying to kill him. And if it had been his ex-partner, I would have expected him to make a better job of it than that.
I'd go along with that.
So, you're favouring what?
We know Palin made enemies. There's a farmer, his nearest neighbour, who was good as threatened to do him over here in my office.
A feud, then? Something local?
Why not?
All right. An open mind, then. No blinkers. Let us explore every possibility there is. Only, Jean, let us not get blinkered the other way either. Just because you don't want it to be this fella Wright doesn't mean that it's not.
Afternoon, Mr. Greenwood. Lost any more sheep at all?
I were expecting you.
You didn't answer my question, Mr. Greenwood. Have you lost any more sheep?
No. Should I have?
I take it you've heard what happened.
I just saw all them police cars and ambulances and thought it must be bloody Monte Carlo rally.
You didn't see any other cars or anything up at the house a bit earlier, did you?
No. And I can't say I'd tell you if I had. Palin got what we're coming to, and I can't say I'm right sorry.
What time are you usually up and about of a morning?
6-ish. I've only a few cows, but they need milking.
How long does that take?
Oh, I'm usually through by 7.
And then what do you do? This morning, what did you do?
I made my breakfast.
Have it on your own, do you?
Ah, if my lad's not here.
And this morning?
I were alone.
Where's your lad?
How should I know? He does what he wants.
So you weren't anywhere near the house until you heard the police cars and the ambulance arriving?
That's right.
As an alibi, Mr. Greenwood, I have to tell you this. It couldn't be much thinner. You can't prove a word of it.
I can't help that, can I?
You won't deny you made threats against Mr. Palin when you were in my office.
I meant him and all if he'd had any more of my sheep. Somebody never gave him the chance, did they?
I've a feeling it's going to be a long, hard haul.
A man like Palin's probably got more enemies than friends.
A lot of legwork, Sergeant.
Crossing Greenwood off, then, are we?
For the moment. But let's not forget about him.
And is that everything during the past 3 days? Yeah, well, what about vehicles recovered that were stolen in the south or over Manchester way? No, well, make certain we're the first to know, will you? Yeah, nothing. Well, I think I'm going to call it a day. How about you?
Well, there's something, I'm sure of it. Something.
Like what?
Tarnhill House? I don't know. Something not right, only I'm bloody if I can put my finger on it.
Sleep on it. Good night.
How soon before he can be interviewed? Well, it's essential for us to know whether he can identify the driver. Just look at some photographs. I see. Well, thanks for letting us know anyway. Not sure whether it's good news or not. No, I don't suppose it does make much difference to him, but it might to us. Bye. Apparently his injuries are wholly consistent with having been knocked down and run over by a vehicle of some kind. Which makes me think it might be right after all. Waits for him to arrive, knocks him down and away. Any joy?
Not a lot. No, I think it's fair to say it wasn't quite as fruitful as we'd hoped.
I'm sorry.
Sergeant Tunstall a friend of yours, is he, Sergeant Beck?
I know him, sir.
Nice bloke. Yes, very helpful too, wasn't he, Cole?
Oh, definitely. Got to know our way around Manchester pretty good, thanks to him.
You know what we've been doing all day? Just sitting in a motor, driving round Manchester all day, thanks to him.
No leads?
Wright was never in Manchester, lovey. Tunstall knows it and your sergeant here knows it. Wild bloody goose chase. He ever pulls a stroke like that again, I'll have his bloody warrant card.
No idea what they're talking about, man.
Hey, listen, pal. What's happened to your windscreen? Hey!
No, I'm sorry. There's nothing like that been handed in. Well, if it is...
7189 to Ardley.
Yes, I've got your address, Mrs. Hudson.
7189 to Ardley.
Yeah, righto then.
7189 7189 to Hartley.
Go ahead, 7189.
Oh, it's me, Sarge. Is it legal to drive round with no windscreen?
Say again?
I've just seen this van, Sarge. It had no windscreen, no road tax, and the back number plate was falling off.
So what did you do?
Nothing. It drove off like before I could stop it.
Hard luck. Did you get the number?
The thing is, Sarge, I know him, the driver. He used to go to the same school as me.
Well, in that case, why don't you have a quiet word with him? Point out to him that his vehicle does appear to suffer from a number of defects, and if you see him out in it again in the same condition, you'll do him.
Right, Sarge.
Come in. I get the distinct impression you know something I don't.
When we were up at Tarnhill House yesterday, there was something bothering me. But it wasn't till I was shaving this morning that I clocked what it was.
You know, it's a complete fallacy that women spend most time in the bathroom. Tom's the same. What have you been doing in there, I say to him, and he says, thinking.
Not enough booze. I mean, he's supposed to be opening that place in 10 days, right? So, you go in the bar, and he's got optics up, but his shelves are damn near empty. I've just been up there checking his stocks against his invoices, and from what I can make out, there's less than half the booze there that he's paid for and had delivered.
So you reckon he's been turned over?
I reckon when he arrived yesterday morning, he found them bang at it, tried to stop them, and they ran him down.
Doesn't sound like the kind of stunt an escaped convict from London would try and pull. Does it to you, Sergeant?
Local, ma'am. It's got to be.
I've never seen it before.
Excuse me, Mr. Greenwood.
Clear off, you! I don't need you! I can handle this one myself!
Mr. Greenwood.
Shut up! Have you no problem? I'll not take that from you. You are, you're dead. You'll be dead if I get you. I'll get it.
7189 to Hartley. 7189 to Hartley. Come in, please.
7189, Hartley. What is it this time?
I'm out at Tarnhill Farm, Sarge. I think I need some backup.
What are you doing there?
You told me to, Sarge. To see the lad that owns that van. Only I think his dad's trying to murder him or something. I mean, they know I'm here, but it sounds like someone's getting killed in there.
Bell in. Could I speak to either Mr. Winder or Mr. Funnell, please? Oh, are they? No message, thank you. Bye. They're not there. Apparently they've gone down to the hospital.
Bullying the nurses to let them see Palin, I'll bet.
Do you think I should ring them there?
Excuse me, Mum. We've just had a call from Bentley. I can't really make out what's going on, but I think he needs assistance.
Where is he?
Tarnhill Farm, Mum. That's what I thought you ought to know.
What on earth is he doing there?
Bit of a long story, Mum.
Well, if he's taking on Greenwood, I'm not surprised he needs assistance.
Well, from the sound of it, it might be more serious than that.
How do you do it, Roland?
Eh? Sergeant Parrish told me to have a word with him.
The point is, he probably wouldn't have done if you told him who you were talking about. Anything new happened?
No. It's been dead quiet for quite a while now.
Where's your son, Mr. Greenwood?
Gone.
Gone where?
How should I know? I told him to clear off and not bother coming back.
There's been a constable out in the lane the last half hour, Mr. Greenwood. He hasn't seen anybody leave.
He wouldn't, would he? Not if somebody slipped out that way. You can give over chasing him. I've done your job for you. Took my belt off to him and give him the hiding he deserved.
Taking the law into your own hands again, eh, Mr. Greenwood?
I'm his father. When me taught him the difference between right and wrong, and if he's forgot, it's my job to remind him.
With your belt?
I don't care what you think about me. I'll not have a lad of mine thieving, no matter what. And I don't need you to tell me what to do about it.
How about telling us how it all started?
You try to bring him up right. I never spared him. Life's not spared me much. You just put your head down and get on with it. You don't owe, you don't beg, you don't steal. You make best of what is. Work. You don't go bloody thieving. I've just told you.
You've told us he's been thieving, but not what?
I'm not simple. If you didn't know, you wouldn't be here.
The constable only came to talk to your lad about his van, Mr. Greenwood, and we're only here because he reported hearing blue murder. Now, do you think you could be a bit more specific, please, and tell us exactly what's been going on?
Sorry, ma'am, excuse me. I thought you ought to see these. I found them in the back of Ronnie's van. There's another and all full of vodka.
Well, Mr. Greenwood.
Any more, are there?
If all this came from where I think your son nearly killed someone yesterday, Mr. Greenwood.
Aye.
But don't you think that's a bit worse than thieving?
Not when it's a fella like Palin.
Well, you may have belted your Ronnie for thieving, Mr. Greenwood, but when we catch him, he's likely to be charged with a good deal more than that, including assault causing grievous bodily harm. And while we're at it, I've half a mind to charge you with obstructing the police and withholding evidence.
I wouldn't put it past you.
Sergeant Beck to Hartley.
We'll catch him, no problem. According to his father, the lad's story is Palin fired at him and smashed the windscreen. The lad lost control of the van and knocked Palin over by accident. Could have happened that way, I suppose. Which reminds me, I must talk to Mr. Palin about his firearm. But in the meantime, I think you can take it he's safe enough where he is, if you're still worried that Wright might be headed this way.
Wouldn't discount the possibility.
As of this morning, I think there have been unconfirmed sightings in Hull, Carlisle, Bristol, Maidenhead and London, of course. You'll be able to write a book soon about all your travels.
Bet there'll be a good chapter on Manchester.
Grateful for the cooperation and hospitality, ma'am. Hope we'll see you in London sometime, so we can reciprocate.
Don't like London, Inspector. Dirty, crowded, bad-mannered place.
Inspector.
Ma'am.
Gentlemen. Sergeant Beck.
Ma'am.
I wonder what the newspapers would make of it if a policeman was ever charged with wasting police time.
Reckon they'd enjoy that, ma'am.
Please don't feel you ever have to do that again. But thanks all the same.
Can't do nothing right, can we?
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the bill.